The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
Why?
let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pig!
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Super Bowl kickoff Monday, February 3rd, 2025. This program starts now.
Football!
It's wonderful, and obviously we're celebrating the biggest game of the year happening on Sunday down in New Orleans between the Chiefs and the Eagles. We'll be at Radio Row down at the Convention Center in beautiful New Orleans, Louisiana, starting on Wednesday all the way through Friday, and then obviously we all watch the massive game on Sunday as we find out whether or not this particular dynasty that the Chiefs are in the middle of is the greatest of all time, and can they win 3 straight for the first time in the modern Super Bowl era. And on the other side, 2 Super Bowl visits in the first 4 seasons as Nick Sirianni as their head coach. 2 in the last 3 years. Jalen Hurts has championship pedigree. Will he be able to win on the biggest stage alongside a running back that has completely turned back the hands of time with football? A powerful offensive line, a defense that's greedy. We have the Chiefs and the Eagles in Louisiana on Sunday. Obviously, that'll be chatted about throughout the entirety of the week, and obviously, we'll chat about it today, but the weekend was full of surprises. We were lucky to be a small part of some of it. On Saturday night, Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Punching his ticket to the main event of WrestleMania. A man who's been grinding and working his ass off night in, night out for the WWE for the better part of the last 2 decades. Once a Hall of Fame tag team partner alongside his brother with the Usos. Now, as a singles competitor who has every arena on their feet, yeeting alongside of him, eliminates John Cena and sends himself to the main event of WrestleMania. Myself, Wade, and a guy who's joining us now on stage here at Thunderdome, a man who's been in the WWE for 28 years, has only missed 2 shows over that span of time. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Coles.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Cole, massive surprise, big time win. So incredibly excited for Jey Uso and all the hard work that he's put in. Everything that he has done for the company. Every meet and greet, every handshake, every bump, every match, everything that he has done, all paid off for this big moment for him to be in the main event of WrestleMania. And we are so incredibly proud. I almost got emotional and started crying for him on Saturday night, Michael Cole.
It was an incredible night. And the thing about Jey is he's such a great guy. And like you said, he's worked his butt off for so many years to get to this point. But Jey created himself. I mean, he made this happen. He came up with that yeet catchphrase a year or so ago, and it just took off. And then, of course, the dancing and all of that has brought him to this point. But I think the entertainment factor is great, but Jey is a hell of a worker in the ring. And he really deserves this moment. And I thought the surprise was great.
Yeah, I thought so too. Everybody was surprised. Everybody thought that maybe it was going to be Cena because it was his final Royal Rumble. He would address that immediately afterwards and say, hey, we'll see you at the Elimination Chamber in Toronto in 4 weeks, which is the final opportunity to punch a ticket to the main event of WrestleMania where Jey Uso will be. That'll be happening in Toronto. We shall see.
Hopefully.
Canada's doing a lot of chatting right now.
Yeah.
So is America. We'll see how that whole thing works out. Excited to get up to beautiful Toronto, up to the 6 for Elimination Chamber, where John Cena will be, and many others. I believe there's qualifying matches happening over the next few weeks to see who will get into the Elimination Chamber. If you win that, you also go to the main event of WrestleMania. So there's a lot in store. You know, every time I come back into the WWE, I feel honored. I feel lucky. I feel so damn thankful that they asked me to come back. But all the wrestling fans, the diehard wrestling fans, always attack me. You know, they say, look at this part-timer, part-timer, part-timer. Okay, they come after me, and I understand it. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm a wrestling fan, so I completely understand where you're coming from. I used to feel this way as a child as well whenever I was watching along. I'm very lucky that I get to be a part of WWE, so anytime I'm asked, and I had do bet on Red 18, shout out to Peyton Manning with that sign there, but anytime I get asked to come back, I love it, and I try to sell every single night how much I appreciate being there for the fans. But the fans, a lot of the diehard wrestling fans attack me for it. You know, also some of the employees of WWE attack me for it, and that's kind of the way it is. So I get attacked for not being around enough. Jey Uso's there every single night of his life, literally, just grinding away for the company. And those same people that are attacking me are attacking the fact that Jey Uso won. Sometimes you're never going to be able to make anybody happy, but I will say this, 70,000 plus, record-breaking Royal Rumble, all yeeting in unison to celebrate this man. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. I think this guy, most over guy on the roster, what a time for him. And Michael Cole yeeting off beat is just maybe the highlight of everything. Maybe that's why Jey Uso won, because he just wanted to see Cole.
The fact that Jay has actually embraced me and allowed me to yeet with him and be a part of this is actually pretty cool for me.
That's right. For me, too. I feel like...
and Wade Barrett even got in the ring and did it. That old Englishman. So.
Shout out to Wade. I love that man. It was an honor to work alongside of him. Royal Rumble was spectacular. We'll continue to talk about that. That was a massive surprise in the WWE. Then, that would be followed up just moments later by a... I don't even know how to say this. Volcanic
Earth-shattering
eruption of what from the NBA when Shams Charania would put out a tweet saying that Luka Doncic, the man who has been the face of the Dallas Mavericks, the man who took the Dallas Mavericks to the finals less than a year ago, the man who's been synonymous with not only that city, that team, that franchise, but also the NBA as a whole, has got his fat ass, if you listen to the way Dallas Mavericks were talking about it, shipped to Los Angeles for Anthony Davis, who once again was the man that the Lakers were going to build around. This is the future. The team can't be operating around LeBron James. He's too old. This team's got to run through Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, very comfortable in his locker. Okay? Very comfortable. Saying we need another big guy, we need a point guard or something like that. If we want to really make a run at this thing, this is what we're going to need. Everybody around the league is talking about how Anthony Davis is the focal point. Everybody talking about Dallas, Luka Doncic's team, Kyrie joining Luka. And instead now, both of them gone. New teams, new era, new time. Shams Charania comes into ESPN, and he had haters behind the scenes who didn't think he was the guy who's supposed to be the senior insider, and drops a big old, suck it, 91 million views on this tweet alone. At this point, that's going to be up over 100 million. You're talking about maybe the biggest trade, okay, in the history of sports. Now, they're taking it back old school to a 31-year-old Wilt, I believe, who got traded in 1968 or something. I understand that there has been big movement in the past, but this one, gigantic, earth-shattering, volcanic-like surprise of, whoa, are you serious? Shams Charania will join us in a matter of 33 minutes. Jey Uso will join us in the next hour. And in a matter of 8 minutes, Adam Schefter will join us because, surprise, the Pro Bowl games were just yesterday. They were good.
Yeah, not bad.
Sweet. They weren't bad. I appreciated the effort out of the boys. I appreciated the football out of the boys. I appreciated the game out of the boys. I appreciated the girls' flag football, high school all-star game that took place beforehand. Thought it was a great day down there in Orlando. One of the participants down there, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett was talking to people about what their life is like with their teams. And although none of them are in the Super Bowl, because none of the Super Bowl contenders were able to be in the Pro Bowl, Myles Garrett said, that sounds a lot better than what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett says, that's a lot better than what I'm going through. You guys are trying to win up there, you think? Yeah, I think so. You're trying to make it to where? Super Bowl? Yeah. I want to do that. Get me the hell out of here. Request a trade this morning from the Cleveland Browns. This is another holy shit moment in sports. Just a few days ago down at the Senior Bowl, Andrew Berry, general manager of the Cleveland Browns, said, I'm not listening to anybody trying to trade for Myles Garrett, who has 2 years left on his contract of non-guaranteed money. Signed a 5-year, $125 million deal, $100 million guaranteed. Final 2 years non-guaranteed. So is this a business move? Potentially. Is this a, hey, I want a new new contract statement? Maybe. Or is this Myles Garrett being sick and tired of not being in the playoffs and playing meaningful football? Potentially as well. We will certainly keep an ear to the ground and ask Adam Schefter about it in about 7 minutes. Now, there's a lot to talk about. The Talks Table's here. At Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. 9-year NFL vet, big old football brain. Darius J. Butler is here. D-Butch, Myles Garrett asked for a trade. Where do you think are some possible landing spots? What do you think he gets paid, and why do you think he came to this decision?
I mean, the first places you look are the places with the most money. We know the Patriots got a ton of money. They got a high draft pick as well, so they got some assets. But for me, I'm going to look for it because it's a guy that you think is going to want to contend with some championships. Young quarterback out in Washington. You know, they just competed in the NFC Championship. Obviously, new ownership group. They got money as well, so they can pay him. You're still dealing with a rookie quarterback contract there. I think the Chargers would be another potential place, once again, right there on the cusp of compete for a championship. And then, like I said, the Patriots, you got a young quarterback. You got Vrabes. You think they'll be contenders as well. But it's a player that, I mean, you can put him in almost any system. He's an edge rusher, a typical throwback 4-3 defensive end. But he's an elite player, just kind of like Luka at the top of his game, absolutely premier pass rusher, which is a premier position. Talk about 2020, first team All-Pro, 21, first team All-Pro, 22, I believe, second team All-Pro, 2023, Defensive Player of the Year, first team All-Pro, and then another first team All-Pro this year. So you're talking about the elite of elite. Now, when you look at a deal, you talked about it, it's probably a potential business move. Obviously, this guy wants to win as well, but Nick Bosa is now the highest paid defensive end, 5-year, $170 million deal, which is around $34 a year. So you would think Myles Garrett is kind of going to get somewhere up in near that ballpark because the gap between Nick Bosa at the top of 34 and then 28, I believe, is the second guy with Josh Hines-Allen's down in Jacksonville. So you would expect him to get paid at his new destination. Browns got some dead cap they're going to have to deal with as well, kind of this Deshaun Watson fallout. But this is one of the best players ever to play the game at one of the most important positions. So this is huge, huge news.
29 years old, will be turning 30 in December. Washington Commanders fans hearing their name even announced in a situation like this is obviously good for them. They're potentially yeeting all over themselves about that discussion. Also, the Patriots, who have all the cap space in the world, are going to be linked to everybody, Con Man.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to think, who knows how free agency works out.
But when he got to the Patriots, he wants to win a Super Bowl. That's his big message is, I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to win a Super Bowl. He'd be believing in the mission of Vrabel, I guess, more so than believing in the Cleveland Browns mission. Is that what we have to think about?
Yeah, definitely. And you got to think Vrabel was just in Cleveland, so you assume that him and Myles Garrett do have some sort of kind of relationship. But of all the teams up there, I would look at Detroit. Detroit paid a bunch of people last year. They already got, the Penei Sewell, the Goff, the Amon-Ra, those contracts done. If they do have $56 million, still don't have to pay Hutch just yet. And then you look at how their season ended where they did have to replace a bunch of guys. They did have to go get a pass rusher. If the deal, because, you would obviously have to pay Myles Garrett too, this could be a situation where it's like, wow, Myles Garrett only went for a 2, a 4, and a 5 because you also have to give him a contract. And Detroit feels like a team where in his message he said, hey, the plan was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. The plan was to go from Cleveland to the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, and then obviously all those things come with it. Detroit would kind of be that place, I would think, where he could look at. It goes from, he goes from rather the AFC to the NFC. Cleveland doesn't really have to deal with them that often, so I would look at Detroit.
Well, and as a Packers fan, I don't know if they'll necessarily do it, but they had kind of been linked with this past offseason. Hey, if a guy like Myles Garrett or Max Crosby is available, you need to go get one of those guys because that's kind of the area where they've invested a lot of draft capital the last couple of years, getting first-round DNs and guys who haven't really panned out necessarily. They haven't really been able to get to the quarterback. And I think back to when the Packers traded and got Reggie White, that was kind of what propelled them to, win a Super Bowl and kind of turn around and be one of the better teams of the late 90s. This is the first time they've had cap space since they got rid of Rodgers. And I think this would be one of those splashes where we all hear about how they're the youngest team in the NFL. Well, you can get one of the best players in the NFL right now who can maybe come in and give some of that game to the young kids who need to make a huge step up.
You're hearing a lot of fans, I assume, this morning, as soon as they learn of Myles Garrett potentially being available, saying, hey, get him to our team. Get him to our team. Now, there's going to be some salary cap situations that aren't going to be able to make it feasible. The Jets are one of them. How do you feel about that, Michael Cole, diehard Jets fan? How do you feel about the NFL? Now, we could talk about the NBA trade as well. That would probably be next hour more so. NBA, I think, I'm not going to say it was a work. But
could have been.
There's a chance.
There's a chance that you trade two megastars. First time ever two All-NBA players have been traded for each other. And it's like all eyes are on the NBA now, Super Bowl week. And I know trade deadline is February 6th of Super Bowl week. Yep. But that's a massive convo. Myles Garrett then requests official trade here from the Browns this morning. Massive conversation, Michael Cole. How do you feel about it as a Jets fan? How do you feel about it from a sports world fan?
I don't think they're going after Garrett at all. I mean, their cap space, where they got $16 million or something like that.
15.8, yeah.
What I was thinking about, what about the Bears? I mean, the Bears got a lot of money to play with. Ben Johnson's coming in, right? Yep. I mean, what about Chicago? I mean, they're trying, Johnson said the other day that it's going to be Caleb's team. Now bringing somebody on defense. I don't know. Sounds good to me.
The interesting thing about it is Miles Johnson said he wants to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay? So if he goes to any of these teams that have not won a Super Bowl, he's basically just banking on this particular team being a better run organization than the Cleveland Browns, which is quite a shot. It's quite a shot at the Cleveland Browns, even though he said he absolutely loves living in Cleveland, and he is, grown there in his statement and everything like that. Browns fans have to be thinking to themselves, what the hell is going on?
Oh, they're a mess.
Because literally just a week ago, Andrew Berry was like, we're not trading Myles Garrett. He is not available. Now, all of a sudden, Myles Garrett's saying, is that right?
Yeah.
I think I am available. Joining us now, a man who released Myles Garrett's statement and probably knows a little bit more about the behind-the-scenes. Senior NFL insider for ESPN, Michigan man, Adam Schefter.
Yeah,
Schefter, you look awesome as the sun hits your face in the weird little place. You look awesome. Thank you for joining us. Massive morning here. We thought the trade between Luka, AD, and then Utah getting sprinkled in there would be the biggest conversation. It certainly still is, but Myles Garrett, perennial All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year candidate every single year, wanting to be traded with 2 non-guaranteed years left on his contract, just 1 week removed from the general manager saying they aren't listening to any trade offers for him. How did we get here? And is he only going to contenders, or is he going to other buildings that have money and potentially a better vision than Cleveland Browns?
If he's going, again, because we have a team here in the Cleveland Browns. I know we get swept up in the moment. We've got this Defensive Player of the Year requesting a trade out of Cleveland, and this is not a surprise to the Browns. The Browns knew about his unhappiness. I think they've asked around, they've prepared for it, they've gotten some opinions about how to best handle this situation, knowing that it could be coming, and I think that they are dug in and entrenched in their stance that they're not going to trade Myles Garrett, that's not the kind of player you move on from. You're talking about arguably the best defensive player in the league, 29 years old. That's a player that helps you win a Super Bowl, and that's what the Browns want to try to do. So, again, we can continue to talk about this, and we will, because it's certainly interesting. But we also have one side here in the Cleveland Browns that doesn't want to trade Myles Garrett and says it won't trade Myles Garrett. And the GM, Andrew Berry, even has told reporters that he doesn't care if he's offered 2 number ones, he's not trading Myles Garrett. Now, what we have, what changes the equation some potentially, is we've got Myles Garrett now going public with the statement and the idea that he does want out of Cleveland. He wants to play on a team where he believes he's got a chance to win a Super Bowl, which obviously he doesn't feel like is the case in Cleveland. So the Browns, if they trade him, there's acceleration on his contract to the tune of about $35 or so million. They're already over the cap. To trade him becomes financially difficult and challenging. Not saying they can't do it, but it's hard. So I think the whole situation here, Pat, is honestly, in my mind, how dug in is Myles Garrett? How miserable is he prepared to try to make life for the Cleveland Browns? Is he willing to sit no matter what when they go to training camp? If they haven't traded him by then, is he continually going to issue statements saying how unhappy he is and how much he wants out? Does he make it such that he forces them to trade him, or do they acquiesce to his wishes and listen to him when that's not what they want to do? And they've been perfectly clear about that.
Okay, so in your eyes, if you had to project right now, and I know we literally just learned of Myles Garrett taking this thing public, but these situations have certainly happened before in the NFL, certainly during your time of covering the NFL. When the season starts, you think Myles Garrett has a new deal with some guaranteed money? You think this is business-wise? Do you think he's a Cleveland Brown, or do you think he's going to be gone? Because once somebody goes public, what is that? That's just putting massive pressure on Andrew Berry to see if he's really about it?
Okay, but you know what? Deebo Samuel issued a trade request to the 49ers 2 years ago. He's still there. Brandon Ayuk issued a trade request to the 49ers last year. He's still there. So when you issue a trade request in the NFL, it's not final that you're being traded. There are still many steps to go through. And again, the Browns have been very public in the idea that they're not moving on from Myles Garrett. They're not trading him, which is why I come back to the point is how difficult is Myles Garrett willing to make life for them?
Yeah.
Is he going to make it such that they have to trade him? If you're the Browns, you go to Myles Garrett now. You say, Myles, I know you want to be out, but we want to make you the highest paid defensive player in football. You feel any better? No. I don't. I still want to. Oh, you still want to? Okay, we want to make you the highest paid defensive player, and we want your input on what we should do at quarterback now and what you think are some guys that you think could help the team. You feel better now? No? Okay, like what can you do to make him feel better? Usually when a player hears that he's the highest paid something player in NFL history, I'm not telling you that will happen. I don't know how Myles feels, but sometimes that makes a player feel better and change his mind.
Got it, especially with 2 non-guaranteed money years left for somebody his caliber. Obviously, this is potentially a business play by Myles to kind of put some public pressure on the Browns to make it happen. But let's say trade does take place. D-Butch has a question for you.
Yeah, and this I know you mentioned Ayuk and Debo, but this is, number 1 pick, premier guy at a very, very elite position. But so let's say it does get to that point. What would the compensation be for Myles Garrett, you think? And can you recall a pass rusher of this caliber moving at this point in his career?
Khalil Mack would be the closest comparison that would be out there right now. Because when Khalil Mack requested a trade, it was not altogether dissimilar to Myles Garrett. There were teams salivating at the idea of trading for Mack when he was playing with the Raiders. And I posted the compensation before, earlier this morning. Let me just call it up exactly to give you an idea. But the trade comp on Khalil Mack was he was traded from Oakland to Chicago. The Bears gave up 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a 6th-round pick. For Mack, a 2 and a conditional 5. So 2 1s, a 3, a 6. For Mack, a 2 and a 5. Jeez. Now that went on for a while. I don't know that the Raiders maximized the return. Mack refused to budge. Mack was 27 at the time. Myles Garrett's 29. Again, that's the best comp, I think, that's out there right now. Myles Garrett is an elite player. Again, you can make the argument he's the best defensive player in the league very easily. So I think that the return is probably along those lines. But again, we have the Browns GM, Andrew Berry, on record saying that he wouldn't even consider 2 first-round picks for Myles Garrett, which, by the way, would be my stance as well if I were the GM. I would say I wouldn't consider 3 ones for the guy. That's what I would say. Now, what I would wind up taking would be a different deal. So it's just a question of gamesmanship. Now, again, is this a business play by Myles Garrett? I don't think so. I think he legitimately wants to be in a place where he feels like he's going to have a chance to win the Super Bowl. But again, is there anything that could get him off that changes his mind?
So last question from me, and obviously we're all learning about this as we go. So that means he's only going to teams that are contenders? Is that what we're hearing? Or
that's what, in his ideal world, that's what he's doing.
Okay.
Now, again, what if they said, we're trading you, I'm making this up to Chicago. Is Chicago a Super Bowl contender right now? But what if Chicago, he feels like I think the best way of saying it, he wants to go to what he believes is a Super Bowl contender. But I think as we talk about this, I think that would be a place that he believes gives him more hope to win a Super Bowl championship than the Browns do. And there are probably multiple NFL franchises that would fall into that category, because I think if you had to consider it, 31 teams probably would be interested in trading for Myles Garrett.
That's what because we went through the salary cap and what the projected amount of money is. And obviously you look at a lot of these teams and it's like, well, the Patriots would obviously benefit from having Myles Garrett. Yeah. Vrabel was in Cleveland this past year. They have the money to do it. But would Myles be like, yep, you know what? I'm going up to New England because I believe they could potentially be a Super Bowl contender. Then you just go down the line there of all the people that have it. Like, does he think the Chargers are potentially a Super Bowl contender, even though they haven't really been able to get close to the dance in some time? Does he believe Harbaugh changes things? Chicago, it's like, does he think Ben Johnson will be able to get them to a Super Bowl? It's like, is it his projected contender or the actual contenders? Like, is he thinking about going to Baltimore that only has $8.9 million? They can't even really seemingly afford them, or the Chiefs, or going to Detroit, or going to the Packers maybe, who had a chance to go to run. Like, what does he mean? I think we just kind of wait and see, I guess, Shefty.
Well, I think, first of all, a few things to keep in mind. I don't think there's any way or chance in hell that the Browns ever would consider trading him in a division. So you could knock out those teams. And by the way, they said they're not trading him at all. They're certainly not trading him in a division. I would think that if they're trading him, they certainly wouldn't want to trade him in conference. And again, they say they don't want to trade him. And Myles Garrett would have the ability, because any team would have to give up a haul, and any team that trades for him obviously would want to have him under contract. So he would have some say there, because let's just say it was New England. Let's say he doesn't like that area. He doesn't believe in the team. He doesn't like whatever it is. He could say, I'm not going there. Sorry, Connor. I'm not trying to pick any. I'm just giving you an
No. We've been talking about that all morning, but it's like Minnesota, Detroit, Packers, all those.
It's what he believes. It's what he feels. It's what he feels. And any team that would give up what it would be required to acquire him. And again, this is even considering the idea that the Browns would be willing to trade him, which they haven't been. But if they were, then it would have to be to a team that is going to give up so much, and they're not going to give up that much without having him under contract or him being unhappy about being traded. So he's going to have to sign off on the trade, even though he doesn't have a no trade request. So he's going to basically be able to dictate it. That's if Cleveland ever gets to the spot where it moves off its current stance of we're not trading him. So there's a lot of things that have to happen before we get there, just to give you an idea of where this is at.
All right, well, good luck to all parties.
Yep.
Good luck to all parties. There's a lot of NFC teams, though, that are doing a little dance thinking they get Myles Garrett. Green Bay Packers, you'd give up 2 ones,
Yes.
a third,
Yes.
and pay him
Yes.
to get him on the squad?
Yes.
Vikings probably do the same. They don't even have a quarterback yet, but if you get another game wrecker on the defensive side, Lions, they lose Aiden Hutchinson, still able to win, but in the end, not able to get to where they want to go. Why not continue to build depth?
Anything they want, they can have it.
And then with the Niners, the Niners adding Myles Garrett to that defense after a disappointing year, and now granted Christian McCaffrey didn't play. There's
him and Bosa.
A lot of NFC teams that would be like, all right, let's go and get it. Hopefully Andrew Berry is able to figure it out. Let's talk about some other news that happened around the NFL. If you have time, we appreciate you making some here on this glorious day. Chip Kelly's back in the NFL. He's getting paid $6 million to be the offensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders. So the Ohio State Buckeyes lose both of their coordinators. Jim Knowles goes to Penn State on a $3.1 million deal, allegedly, to Penn State. Ohio State was not able to match or didn't come close. Chip Kelly now going to the Raiders on a $6 million deal, allegedly, per year. That's via Albert Breer. Allegedly, in a conversation, new ownership said, like, hey, no stone unturned. Anything you need to be able to put a staff together, you could do that. Chip and Pete, do they have history? And how much did we expect Chip Kelly to come back to the NFL before this hiring cycle, Shefty?
Well, I think he wanted to get back to the NFL, and the Raiders made a lot of inquiries and did a lot of background checks to see this is what they were trying to do. Again, I think everybody would agree on Chip's offensive prowess and brilliance. And so they were trying to see, okay, is there a reason that we should move in that direction? Is there another candidate that's more qualified? They were looking at some other people as well. But ultimately, the recommendations on Chip's offensive mind came back in such a way that they felt like this was the move to make. And look, they're at a disadvantage in that division with those coaches and those quarterbacks in the AFC West. It's loaded. Pete comes in with energy and enthusiasm and passion and a defensive expertise. So they need somebody to really run that offense. And Chip Kelly certainly is more than capable of doing that. They identified him. And this is where the new money and the limited owners that the Raiders have come into play, because Mark Davis got an infusion of money from the limited owners that included Tom Brady. And they now can go out and spend that money on guys like Chip Kelly. There's no salary cap for coaches. You're capped off on what you can and can't spend on players, but there's no cap on coaches. So if you want to go pay Chip Kelly $6 million a year to bring him in to Las Vegas, you can go do that. And having cash is a big deal. And the Raiders clearly have some cash that they can throw around to coaches and that they're going to be able to use in the form of guaranteed money and signing bonuses to upcoming free agents. So that's going to be something that I think the Raiders lean into as they try to make up ground on the rest of the teams in the AFC West and in that conference.
And that's no cap, brother, especially on the coaching staff. This is why we talk about the Denver Broncos being such a promising position for whoever's going to go coach there, because the Waltons, the Walmart family, they got it.
They got keys.
So they can pay the coaches more than other places. You can keep people around. Raiders getting into that game is kind of crazy. Chip Kelly going to Vegas. Say it, Connor.
I mean, look, why not Will Howard going with him, too?
Whoa!
That's where they won the Natty together,
Need a quarterback, knows the offense, understands Chip Kelly very well. Chip Kelly, beloved by the Ohio State players. Jeremiah Smith, #1 wide receiver on earth, said no with a heartbreak. With a heartbreak in there. So who knows how Ohio State looks going forward. We shall see. All right, let's pivot away.
He's going to have certain knowledge on those guys that other people don't. He's going to have worked with all of them. And we also go back to his time in Philadelphia. Remember how much everybody wanted the Eagles and Chip Kelly to trade up to get Marcus Mariota, who's going to be a free agent this offseason. So Marcus Mariota, I think maybe that's going to be an option. But I'll tell you where else Marcus Mariota is going to be an option. In Miami with Tua, his good friend Tua. He'll be an option there. So there could be a little bit of interest in Marcus Mariota between the Miami Dolphins and Chip Kelly and the Las Vegas Raiders. And that's a great spot for Marcus because he's got 2 no-tax states.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to have some interesting choices this offseason.
He should go to Vegas, I think.
Some ooze juice down there in Miami, maybe. I like everything about that. Marcus Mariota, certainly. We got nothing but respect for Marcus Mariota. Appreciate everything he did. We got out to see Oregon. He has an entire hallway dedicated to him for everything he did out there. Certainly, that was like 15 years ago, though. I mean, that was a pretty good amount of time. What Chip Kelly and Will Howard were able to do, especially during his playoff time, biggest time of the year, was nothing short of magical. Now, Pete Carroll goes to Las Vegas. That was one part of the coaching cycle. There is one job still remaining that is available in the NFL. Ty has a question for you, Shefty.
Shefty, where do we stand with the Saints job right now? Obviously, Mike McCarthy pulls his name out. He's going to be looking to the next year's cycle, and everything's kind of leaning towards, hey, this is basically going to be Kellen Moore's job. Has there been any movement on that? Is that the expectation that once the Super Bowl is over, Kellen Moore will become the head coach of the Saints, or what's going on there?
Let's spell this out, Ty, right? This is pretty simple. You and I have talked about this before. We did it this morning. We could stop the charade. What's going on here is that the New Orleans Saints wisely are going to be doing everything by the book, as they should be, because the last time hold on, let me rephrase that. The New Orleans Saints, when it comes to this coaching hire, should be doing everything by the book, right?
Got it.
Let me rephrase that. Okay, I want to make sure we're accurate here.
Yes.
When it comes to this coaching hire, the Saints are going to do everything by the book because the last time the Eagles were in a Super Bowl in the host city was Arizona. The Cardinals, there was evidence found that they tampered with the Eagles' defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon. The Eagles owner, Jeffrey Lurie, not happy. He pressed the issue, and draft compensation was awarded to the Eagles on draft night. So the league sided with the Philadelphia Eagles. Jeffrey Lurie knows what it's like. The Saints have been in the crosshairs with the NFL before, not the first time. And so the head of the Saints organization, Mickey Loomis, is going to do everything in his power when it comes to this coaching hire to follow the rules and go by the book and not talk to Kellen Moore until after the Super Bowl. Could it break down and they not reach an agreement? Sure. Is that likely? No. Kellen Moore is going to have a chance to probably triple his salary, become a head coach, one of 32. And if the Saints were making any other move, whether it was hiring the Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver, or the Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, or their own interim head coach Darren, what are they waiting for? Why Why not go hire them right now? But they're not. They're waiting. And they're waiting to talk to Kellen Moore, and they're waiting to make sure that they give the Eagles absolutely zero evidence that they've tampered with the guy until after the game. But the fact that they don't have a coach tells you everything you need to know about where this is going. Of course, barring a setback, he's going to be the guy. Could there be a setback? Sure. There often are setbacks. Bill Belichick didn't wind up becoming the head coach of the Jets. Josh McDaniels didn't wind up becoming the head coach of the Colts. Liam Cohen didn't wind up becoming the coordinator of the Buccaneers. But barring any setbacks, we know where this is tracking, and we know where this is going. Let's not be oblivious to it.
Okay, congrats, Kelly Moe, if you end up becoming the head coach. And the Josh McDaniels, Jim Irsay dumping party could have been settled with some Dove men care whole body deal. You know, if this. Did you ever get any confirmation on that story?
What story?
Well, allegedly, now we've obviously covered this pretty in depth because we are Colts fans here. Allegedly, whenever Jim Irsay went to the McDaniel's house, there was a massive dump that took place potentially. That was a little bit off-putting.
Yep.
And that is inevitably why Josh decided to turn the plane around, because at the very end was like, we're going to be living with this dumper all day?
No weirdo.
Let's get out of here and get us back to New England. Do you know if that was the reason, or?
I can't jump on that story. I don't know what the actual.
Wow,
truth
that's
is.
pretty good. That's
bad.
And by the way, if you have any friends that smell like ass, Schefter, which I assume you do in the journalism world, let them know that whole body DO from Dove Men Care can take care of it all. Can take care of your pits, can take care of your taint, can take care of your toes. Anything that smells, whole body DO can get rid of your BO. And these bottles last forever.
Since when do we have a sponsor for this segment? I didn't know about this.
It's not because of you, brother. It's not because of you, brother. Don't you worry about that. They're not saying you smell like shit. They're not saying you smell like shit. Okay, let's continue to move to other talking points around the NFL. Speaking of shit, Michael Cole, massive New York Jets fan, has a question for you.
Adam, what are we doing about quarterback? Is Rodgers coming back? What's happening?
New York Jets fan, obviously. He's talking about the Jets situation. Aaron Rodgers still open to anything, attached to nothing. Aaron Glenn, new head coach.
Yep. Darren
Muji is the
Darren
new
Muji,
GM.
yep. Darren Muji, yep.
You want Aaron Rodgers back, or you just want them to do whatever's good for the team?
I think we have to bring Rodgers back if he wants to come. We don't have any quarterbacks. And you try to draft somebody and learn under Aaron and move on from there. That's my thought, but I'm not sure.
What is yours, Shefty?
I think that Aaron Glenn and Aaron Rodgers have to sit down, and number one, Aaron Rodgers first and foremost has to decide whether or not he wants to play, whether or not he wants to play in New York, whether or not he's committed to going through all this again. And if and when that's the case, then Aaron Glenn's going to have Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji have a decision to make about what they want to do with their franchise. From a talent standpoint, there's probably not a better option out there than Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the guy still has it, and he still can play. The question is, what do they want to do as they're rebuilding their organization? Is that a long-term play? Do they feel like there is a better fit for the organization to grow with? And those are questions I think that both sides have to answer with the input from one another as they sit down and talk about this issue moving forward.
Okay, Shefty, you'll be on top of it. We will try to as well. Have not talked to Aaron, trying to give him his space like we always do after the season. Well, I mean, the way he finished that season, there's no way he's walking away.
No.
He played well.
No chance.
There's no way he's just, you know what? Yeah, I'm done. Especially with how the season went and all the shit that was talked. Just doesn't feel like an Aaron Rodgers move to walk away now. But once again, who knows?
No chance. Finish the season healthy. Play well. Obviously, team success wasn't there. You would think he would want to go out on better terms than that for sure.
And also for him, I mean, the timing with the quarterback situation
kind of perfect,
both coming out of the draft and in the free agent world. To your point, and to his point, there really isn't, like, he's already there. He knows the building. You get a young guy in there, can maybe learn under. It's like feels like the stars are aligning for this to happen.
And let's not forget, the Jets still have a ton of talent. I mean, they were so poorly coached last year. They have a ton of talent. They do.
True.
They going to win it all next year?
No, not at all. Never in my lifetime. I've said I'll never.
So what does it matter?
I said I'll never go to a Super Bowl until the Jets are there. So I guess I'm never going to attend a Super Bowl.
Oh, come on. You don't ever know that. You never know that. You have no idea what's going to happen next year. There's been a lot of teams that have been asked that have been able to flip it around. Just one different energy in a building can change everything. And Woody Johnson said, I sucked as an owner.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta own that. I don't think it was those exact words, but he said, maybe I haven't been the greatest owner. I need to own that. So maybe things will turn around. And young Brick Johnson, another year of experience.
Exactly.
He's going to be able to buy scratch-offs next year whenever he's going in there.
Yep.
Who knows?
Right.
Who knows what he's going to do?
Love it. We'll see.
You are the most pessimistic Jets fan of all time.
Yep.
As soon as Aaron gets there, he goes, Shefty.
Boy, that's quite a statement. The most pessimistic Jets fan of all.
Yeah.
That is quite a distinction because there are a lot of them out there.
No questions asked. I mean, I'm sure there's others, but as soon as Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, he goes, why? Why'd he do that? His career's over. That was his first response. Not like, hey, we're going to win a Super Bowl now, like how I was feeling. Like, man, the talent, the energy. He wins, he's going to have a parade right down the middle of New York City. I mean, it's going to be great. And Cole's like, why is he doing that? Why is he coming to our team? Why, he's going to ruin everything. It's like, no, he's coming to help everything. He's like, nope, that ain't how it's going to go. And then 4 plays in, this guy's like, I told you we were going to ruin it. They want to ruin it. It's, I think Jets fans have to feel that way.
Always.
The jaded Jets are the way it is until it changes, and hopefully they'll be able to change. Speaking of change, is there more change coming? Connor has a question for you, Shefty.
Yeah, Schefter, another Bills loss in the playoffs leads to another possible rule change. Obviously, we tried with the Hawkeye technology earlier, I believe in the preseason, and some a little bit last year with the first down marking, and it took forever, and so it didn't get carried into this regular season. But again, now the NFL is reportedly considering using electronics for the 2025 season. Is there a new development in the technology? Is there some other strategy they're going to try to use? And at what point are we just going to use the microchip that's already in the football?
Well, what I would say is, first of all, Roger Goodell is scheduled to have his annual State of the Union this afternoon, and I'd be very surprised if this wasn't one of the questions that came up during the press conference. I'm sure somebody, maybe from Buffalo, is going to ask him that question about whether or not the league has made advancements with the chip in the football. They've experimented with this before. I would imagine if they have the technology, they're going to move forward in a direction where they can lean on it. They're looking for any way to improve these kinds of things. And the chain gang is something that was operating seemingly 100 years ago. If there was a chip in a football that could give you a better reading, then that would be great. But I still think there are issues with that the league is trying to get through. There's no surefire solution. Even if there were a chip in the football, it doesn't ensure that football would have been properly marked, whether it was or wasn't a first down in the AFC Championship game. But the league absolutely has been looking at this. It would love for the technology to be developed. It would love to be able to use it. If it makes sense, it certainly will.
So, and I saw a lot of people talking about how tennis has Hawkeye and everything. They tried it. The NFL tried Hawkeye during preseason, and it was terrible.
So bad.
It was like a 4 or 5 minute wait, and then nothing. It was very bad. I don't know how the technology doesn't exist, or the NFL and the right partner hasn't got in there. You got to remember, it has to be 100%. You know, this tech has to be 100%. Very rarely is technology 100%. That is like a very big flaw of tech. Can operate high, but then every once in a while there'll be a flub. If we rely on this tech, which I'm in for, believe me. I've been calling for the chain gang's head for years now at this point, because I'm about tired of seeing 85-year-old whites trot out there with this thing, and that's the authority on whether or not somebody gets another set of downs or not. But it's like the tech, if that thing flubs any bit, then now all of a sudden the tech is in to screw. I mean, it's something they got to get right. Like, and I'm not sure they've been able to find the right thing. Hopefully, the right tech partner comes around, because in 2025, with all the shit we're capable of doing, you would assume we'd be able to know where the hell a football is on a football field that is being tracked at all times.
Well, and even with the tennis, like John McEnroe told you, like, hey, tennis people don't even believe that
tennis players,
don't believe that is 100% accurate. So if it were to be a situation like that where it would flub and the Chiefs get the ball either way, then it's just all.
Oh, now this is
that's even more so.
This is a systemic issue now, coming from the tech to the entire thing. So I understand why the NFL has tried to be like, we're trying, but we need something that is 100% right, because if that's not right, now you're talking about an even bigger controversy and conspiracy that starts cooking out of it all.
Well, and I read that the chip in the football is in the middle of the football too, so like that's why they can't use it, because like it's gonna, if like the tip of the football gives them a first down, the chip's gonna read like, oh, that was still a couple inches behind.
What's that called? Not a radius. A radius is from the center to the outside.
Yeah.
You would assume the radius would be similar in every football, so you'd be able to do the math. But nonetheless, all you need is that chip to glitch one time, and all of a sudden you have a bigger conspiracy than ever before. Shefty, we'll see you down in New Orleans. We appreciate the hell out of you, buddy.
Safe travels down here, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great Monday.
You're the man. Hey, this has been pretty good. We saw the sun move, We saw the sun move off your face into the sky a little bit.
That's the NOLA sun, the NOLA daylight hours, wherever it is. Yeah, it's gotten cloudy here since I first came on the show here.
It's supposed to be mid-70s all week. We cannot wait to get down.
Oh, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Schefter. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
64 today in Indiana, 31 tomorrow. So we're in the middle of that whole thing. And that rat bastard out of Punxsutawney, I'm sick of seeing him. I'm from Pennsylvania, okay? So I understand Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, beautiful place, great tradition, all that, good celebration. I think they party pretty good there. Would like to be a part of it. I'm about tired of that little weasel piece of trash. I'm about sick of it. Remember in 2020 when the world was going bad?
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was living a terrible life? All we needed was that little piece of vermin to come out and say, you know what? Sun's going to come out. Instead, went back in there, piled on top of us. It was at that moment, I'm not going to let this little piece of shit decide whether or not I'm happy or the sun's coming.
I agree, although I do have a little bit more of a soft spot for him because I think I saw that this is his first Groundhog's Day as a father. So
yeah, I knew he wasn't paying attention enough.
I mean that's a big deal.
Need him dead.
It's more weak.
This thing's too busy boning as opposed to reading the damn Doppler. I need punks. When was the last time he said spring was coming? Never.
Decades, probably.
Yeah, it's because he pops up. He's a scaredy cat. We need a little ground rat that has a little bit more moxie. That doesn't poke his head out, see all the cameras, and go and goes back in there.
Yeah.
I'm sick
good
of this
news,
thing.
boys. Staten Island Chuck didn't see a shadow. He said it's an early spring this year.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but nobody saw Staten Island Chuck. So, and we don't know.
SI Chuck's a bit of a dog, but if Phil's saying winter and Phil is clapping cheeks with all the other groundhogs, he's having kids, we're never going to get an early spring from Phil.
That's the issue. Maybe it's cuffing season still for Phil.
Yeah, he's just trying to stay in his ground, his hole.
Smart.
Multiple. It sounds
I was
like.
gonna say
He obviously is.
Many holes.
We need there's
a
an
lot.
angle.
Bit of a dog.
There's always an angle. I guess selfishly he is just out there spreading it,
Yeah.
studding himself out.
Why would I want to leave my hole or any of them?
I don't want sun to come.
No.
I hope for more winter.
Just me.
And that's what I've been saying about this little piece of trash this entire time. This little dumpster rat, groundhog piece of. Just get the hell out of my life.
Yeah.
Have the party, have the Punxsutawney party, because I think people have a good time.
Sure.
But I'm tired of us acting like this thing has any idea. It doesn't. It's not Joe Nardo.
Oh.
Okay, I need Joe Nardo to come up out of his grave and tell us whether or not spring's coming. Another Pennsylvania legend. Joining us now is a man who changed sports completely with one tweet. A man who said, yeah, I am the senior NBA insider at ESPN. A man who said, wait a minute, is this real? And then fired off a 100 million view tweet.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sham Charania.
Yeah, Shami.
Shami, how you doing? You peacocking around a little bit around those ESPN studios? You know, some people probably had a little bit of a question. Why are we bringing in Sham Charania? It should be me. I'm not helping this guy out. And all you do is fire off a tweet a little bit after midnight, change the trajectory of the entire NBA. Not only this season, but forever. Congrats, Shams. We're proud of you, buddy.
Yeah, Shams.
I listen. I had no idea. You never know going to trade deadline what it's going to be like. But this obviously, Pat, you saw me. I was lounging at my house. You posted the picture of me with my unmade hair and my glasses. You gave yeah. There you go. You gave the viewers a look at how I am when I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, you weren't expecting this. Let's talk about the story. And everybody was saying it was fake. Everybody's saying you were hacked. You know, it was too big of a story for little old Sham Charania to break. It was too big of a story for this to actually happen in reality. So I wanted to FaceTime you because I was still up after Royal Rumble. Tough to sleep after those WWE events for me. So I FaceTime you just see if you answer. You couldn't even answer because your phone was going off. So you had to answer me on a computer, which is why go ahead.
My phone was literally I swear it was malfunctioning. I had up to 300 unread messages. I kept getting call after call after call. I swear my phone malfunctioned because I had to start taking like FaceTimes off my Mac. I had to start texting off my Mac. So shout out Apple. I guess they're making products for these different ways for you to get access to your text messages or whatever.
Well,
but
and can Apple understand that when Shams wants to break the world, he needs to be able to access the rest of the world afterwards. You should be incredibly proud of yourself, Shams. That's a big ass deal, brother. How'd it come about? Obviously, you said you were lounging. How long had you known this was happening? I think old buddy Cullen said a few weeks back he reached out to Pelinka or whatever at the Lakers, and he said we kept it real tight. We kept it real tight just to see what was possible. When did you find out about this? And what do you think this messaging is from both teams about the particular trade?
So, Pat, the formal offer of Luka Doncic was made really recently, really over the last week or so. And when Nico Harrison calls Rob Pelinka and offers Luka Doncic in a trade, obviously that's nothing that Rob Pelinka is thinking about on a day-to-day basis. The Lakers never are going to shop Anthony Davis or try to trade Anthony Davis. So the Mavericks are really the ones that initiated this conversation, that made this formal offer. And it's interesting, Pat, this is a peek back into my life. Last week, I was hearing some stuff around the Mavericks and the Lakers that they might be discussing a player in a trade. And that might have been the greatest smokescreen ever. Because clearly it wasn't that player. It was something way bigger, way more, seismic, nuclear. Every word you can come up with. This is one of the biggest trades in pro sports. This is the biggest trade, most shocking trade in NBA history. When you think about Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, they're two all NBA players. Anthony Davis, in all of this, I think has gotten he's 31. He's gotten a little bit of short end of the stick here. He's an all NBA player. He's an all defensive player. He just had a 40-20 game in his last game for the Lakers. He can play, and the Mavericks clearly believe that him and Kyrie Irving and those guys on that roster will give this Mavericks team a better chance to win a championship. They're betting against Luka Doncic. They're betting against Luka Doncic's ability to sustain fitness, his body, his physique, and they are going all in on Anthony Davis. Clearly, that's the player that they targeted. But on the other hand, this is Luka Doncic. He's 25 years old. He's the face of this Mavericks franchise. Now he's going to be the face of the Lakers franchise, a franchise that has LeBron James on this roster. And LeBron James at the age of 40 years old is going to be able to, at year 22, be able to mentor Luka Doncic in a lot of ways. Give him so much wisdom to be able to take it to another level. And that's someone that Luka Doncic idolizes and has a lot of respect for as well. So, listen, I never thought there would be a day where the Mavericks would trade Luka Doncic outside of him requesting to be traded. Mark Cuban said in recent years he would rather get a divorce than trade Luka Doncic. They were going to build a statue for Luka Doncic outside the Dallas Mavericks arena. And just as quickly, they have traded him, and they let him know several minutes before I put the news out. That Lakers let Anthony Davis know before I put this news out, and off we go.
Okay, so obviously a lot there. Congratulations on you getting the scoop. You said that Dallas is betting against Luka's conditioning and being able to stay in shape. There's also a tie to the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks with AD, right? Isn't he kind of used to work at Nike? They kind of did the deal together. When did this all happen? Because the video of Luka enjoying a beer after a big-time game and somebody from the Mavericks taking the beer out of his hand obviously recycles around the internet. When did the Mavericks say, you know what, this guy's fat. This guy isn't a professional. This guy isn't who we want to build around? Because to your point, it felt like that was like Kyrie was going to Luka's team. And on the Lakers side, they got to build around Anthony Davis. They can't build around LeBron was the conversation. When do these things change? And did it only change with AD and the Lakers because Luka was available?
I mean, it had to have changed. It clearly changed this season. Luka Doncic, everyone likes to make, there's always this commentary about his weight, about his conditioning, about his game shape, how he's looking. This is something year over year gets talked about, gets dissected. But at the end of the day, Luka Doncic is a perennial MVP candidate. At the end of the day, no matter what he looks like, no matter his physique, no matter anything.
He's a good tubby player.
He just led the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals 7 months ago. But for whatever reason, and I will say this, there has been levels of friction with Luka Doncic and not the roster, but the organization and even the medical staff, the performance staff, and stuff that you would think that you manage and you work through because of the talent that Luka Doncic is, because of the greatness of Luka Doncic. But clearly, the Mavericks felt in order to win a championship right now, we are not. This is in their mind. We are not going to be able to do it with Luka Doncic the way we're going to be able to do it with Anthony Davis. That is the gamble that they're making. That's the bet that they're making. And who knows? I mean, if they win a championship in the next 3 years, justifiable to do this trade, because for the Lakers, this is more for the longer term. This is for the next 10 years. This is to set their franchise up.
Got it. And whenever the Mavs came and played the Pacers, 77 jerseys throughout the entire arena. I assume that is everywhere. So for the Mavericks front office to be like, I wish hell on the Mavericks. That is what I wish. Although I like Anthony Davis, I like Kyrie. It's like Luka was your show pony, brother. And let's see what life is like without it. Saw what happened with the Cavs yesterday against the Mavs. Now, we only have a few minutes here. There's a lot happening around the NBA, especially in your world. And Luka misses out on that Supermax because he goes to a new team. Woo! Can't get 345. I think it's like 200 and something. Whatever the case, that was decided by this Nico guy that Luka can no longer make that, even though he put that entire city, franchise, and NBA on his back. If I'm Luka, it's a big fuck 'em all party happening, and hopefully LeBron's able to get him tightened up. Only a couple minutes. Big deal, though, happening in Miami still.
Yes, a lot of big names on the move, but Jimmy Butler not been one of them yet. What's the latest with Jimmy Butler in Miami?
I feel like it's deja vu, DB. Like every single day, we're talking about the same thing for the last 2 months. The Phoenix Suns are fully focused on trying to get a deal done for Jimmy Butler, from everything I'm told. They are working on 3, 4, 5 team trade scenarios to figure out a pathway for Jimmy Butler. They want to put Jimmy Butler on this team with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and trying to compete for a championship. That is what this trade deadline is going to be about. Will there be a team out there in the marketplace that will want to take on Bradley Beal and his $110 million for the next 2 years? They have 3 first-round picks that they're making available in the marketplace, from my understanding. So that's the team around the league that people understand is where Jimmy Butler wants to go. That's the place that he would commit long-term to, is the Phoenix Suns, not the Warriors, no one else. And so we'll see between now and Thursday, will a deal get done with Jimmy Butler and the Phoenix Suns?
Okay, so he turned down the Warriors allegedly. The Warriors have been very active. We have about a minute here. Are they going to end up making any moves? Somebody just reported on the internet, who knows what's real, what isn't at this point, that they're maybe even looking in LeBron. This has been a story that's happened like 4 or 5 different times. Are the Warriors?
The Warriors are legitimately calling about every all-star player. You just name the all-star player. The Warriors have probably called it. And Paul George, they have called it. They made calls on every star. And that, of course, includes players like LeBron, players like Kevin Durant, players like Jimmy Butler. They are making calls. They are dead set on trying to find another star player, superstar player with Stephen Curry. That is another subplot to this trade deadline as well.
Okay, and last question. De'Aaron Fox, like you said, ends up with the San Antonio Spurs. That was very expected.
Massive move. Because this is someone, with Victor Wembanyama, we've been talking, how do we get some talent with Victor Wembanyama? And the Spurs are under pressure to get talent around Victor Wembanyama. And it's not even pressure from Victor Wembanyama. It's pressure just how they're putting it on themselves, just based on how they see him playing and the greatness that he's displaying on a daily basis. So All-Star guard De'Aaron Fox, we see the details right there, going to San Antonio. He's going to be the dynamic duo with Victor Wembanyama for years and years to come. And Zach LaVine, 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks going to Sacramento. So Sacramento does get an all-star out of this as well.
You're great. We appreciate you. NBA senior insider. Show some damn respect. Shams Charania. All right, we're back on the other side with Jey Uso, the Royal Rumble winner, Michael Cole, and more sports news. This is a wild start to Super Bowl week, and we're lucky as hell to be doing this. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life. Take 3.
Opportunity to give away $75,000 to giving Daniel Villasenor.
Absolutely.
You're a sophomore, correct?
Yeah.
What is your major?
Civil engineering.
Okay, so what's that mean? What is civil engineering?
I don't really know.
Have you ever kicked a ball before?
I have.
When? Were you a soccer player?
Soccer player, yeah.
Okay, how were you at kicking soccer balls? Pretty good?
I was okay. I was good.
Have you ever said anything negative about football kickers?
Maybe once or twice.
Daniel! Bam, Daniel. We don't need that. You make a field goal here from 33 yards uphill. You're the civil engineer. You'd have to tell me, I think it's about a 40-yard kick. If you're able to do that, we will give you $75,000.
All right.
He's got no laces.
Yeah, what do we got going here? Can we get a shot of shoes?
What time?
A shot of the shoes.
Daniel showed up in his Vans with no laces. What time did you get here for this?
About 11:40 last night.
You need a lot of power.
Good luck, Daniel.
I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it. Wait a second.
Just like everything this morning, that was a surprise. We did not expect that.
Let's go. We gotta do one more shot.
One more kick for $100,000.
You got this, dude.
Let's go. How about this, Daniel? How about this, Daniel? Not only is this one for $100,000, if you make it, we'll add another $100,000 to the $500,000 donation we're about to make from College Game Day to the hurricane relief. It could be $600,000 if you make this, with $100,000 going into your pocket. Daniel, this is bigger than you. Let's make a kick, bro.
Way to overcome the shoes here. That was a heck of an effort. Come on, you got this.
In Berkeley, California.
You got it.
Oh! Proud of you, buddy. Hell yeah.
Great job.
Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. All right.
What just happened?
Are you kidding me?
It's fun, man. 11:40 he was there. I know.
$600,000 to hurricane relief. $100,000 to Daniel. What a morning in Berkeley. Way to go, Daniel.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
What?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Super Bowl kickoff Monday, February 3rd, 2025. Hour 2 of the program starts right now. Football! Day is magical, and obviously the biggest week of the year will kick off as we head down to Radio Row in New Orleans at the... No.
Hell yeah.
That's 28-year WWE veteran and voice of the WWE, Michael Cole.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, it's not baseball. Baseball is reporting, I guess, pitchers and catchers.
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's way too early for that. Nobody
Juan
cares.
Soto.
And
Let's go Mets.
maybe this baseball year is the best year of all time, but we will never speak of that again, especially on this particular week with all the NBA news that's happening. The NHL is certainly awesome. The WWE's on fire. And 6 days from now, down in New Orleans, we will crown a Super Bowl champion. Who will be at the top of Lombardi Mountain? Will it be the Kansas City Chiefs for the third straight year, or will it be the Philadelphia Eagles, who have been in the 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls? Congrats to all teams, and congrats to these players who are going to put on the biggest and most watched event in the history of the world, potentially. I did see some people on Twitter say, I'm still not watching the Super Bowl. I'm still not watching because of everything that happens. But I am hearing a lot of ex-players and a lot more pundits come out and say, hey, you know the script stuff and work stuff that they're doing? It's all because there's too many trash-ass refs in the league. Now, the refs have not been buried every single week of this season, but in a couple of the biggest moments of the season, the refs have certainly made some questionable calls. So, will that change in the offseason? Roger Goodell's annual press conference is happening today at some point where he has to address everything. It's the first one and the only one where it's kind of open questions and he sits up there and answers it all. Will this be the year that changes things going forward for the officials? Will this be the year where maybe officiating gets a little bit more help from technology? Will this be the year Roger Goodell addresses a potential bad call hurting the product on the field and hurting the popularity of the sport? We shall see. I doubt it. The Talks the Table's here. At Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. 9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler's here looking very cool, D-Butch. Okay, so we had Schefter on about the Myles Garrett request. We shall see how that goes. 2 years left on his contract, non-guaranteed. Could be a business move, which has certainly happened in the past. But this is Defensive Player of the Year guy potentially on the move. Have to talk about it. Had Shams on about the massive nuclear trade that took place on Saturday night, just shortly after midnight Eastern time. What did you learn from Shams in that conversation, D-Butt? And what did you learn from Schefter today from his conversation?
Well, with Shams, the Warriors are calling basically every All-Star. You know, I saw a report that they called about Kevin Durant, so that's definitely true. I actually watched a little bit of a Warriors game a couple nights ago. Saw Steph Curry. You know, he looked very, very frustrated. Doesn't look like a team that can compete. He's still playing at a high level, so interested to see what other Shams.
Steve Kerr real bummed out, too, since November.
We need a name for Shams, too, when he drops this type of news. If you drop a 100 million view tweet, like you need a,
because Woj kind of took the bomb phrase.
Yeah.
Shams' name much better.
Yeah, Shams bomb.
Shams bomb is obviously much better, but Woj kind of had that for a while, and we all know how Woj potentially felt about Shams coming up in the business. You know how people act, but he has obviously a lot of friends in the business, done a lot of great things for the NBA. We thought Shams dropped maybe, but that's not powerful enough.
Shams slam.
Oh,
maybe
that might be a good one.
The Shams slam. Ugh. It's going to be tough to get behind.
It's not big enough.
All of them are tough. Maybe it's just a Shams. Yeah. Like he's dropping Shams. Dropping Shams.
Dropping Shams.
A Shams shite.
I don't know if we should. Maybe shite.
A Shamton bomb.
Maybe it is a Shamston bomb. But then once again, there's a bomb in there.
Yeah, you're right.
So, it is tough. He's still new in the game, even though he's a senior. New in the national sense.
Biggest trade in NBA history.
Ever.
For sure.
100 million viewed tweet in like 3 days.
That's
absolutely insane.
And then with Shefty, he doesn't seem convinced that Garrett is going to leave. It kind of sounded like to him coming out of that conversation at least that he thinks a deal will get worked out there in Cleveland. He'll probably become the newest, highest paid defensive man, which will be a lot of money. That's $35 million. That's up there with the top wide receivers with that number to jump Bosa. So that's what it's kind of sounded like to me, at least with Shefty, but maybe that's just what he's hearing from Andrew Berry.
Yeah, Shefty's sitting in the corner of a hotel room, probably one of those cuck chairs that the American hotel rooms all have.
Sure.
Remember that one room I was in that had the two oversized ones?
Double.
I don't know if it's like a supersized, we only take 500-pound cucks in here, but whatever it is. I mean, that was that was where those seats were supersized.
Oh, yeah.
And they were sitting, they were directly, it makes you wonder what the hell is going on in all these rooms. You know, hotel designers understand what's their bread and butter, I guess. But you walk in one of those things, it's like, okay, that is that an office chair? No. That looks like somebody's trying to get comfortable over there.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the lotion literally sitting right next to it.
Oh, yeah.
So what the hell's going on in this room?
Where's this hotel?
Every one of them. You've been in them before. Yeah, you've certainly been in them. You're a man who's been a road warrior for 28 years out there. But Schefter sitting in the corner of a hotel basically said, it's cute out of Miles. That's very cute. But Andrew Berry's not going to let it happen. But you start looking at the numbers, it's like with how much they give Deshaun Watson, right? And how much money is available for their entire roster and what the future looks like there. Are they even going to be able to satisfy Myles Garrett enough, whether it's contractually, whether it's what they think the future is going to be? Because if he does want to win, are the Browns ever going to be able to for the next 3 years with the dead cap and the hit that they have with Deshaun Watson?
Don't look like.
Let alone all the other shit they gave up to get Deshaun Watson with picks and everything. It's like, I don't know. Now Deshaun Watson might get back to form. Okay, Deshaun Watson might get back to playing great football. Very doubtful. He tore his Achilles twice in the last 6 months, so I don't know if that's even possible. Certainly not a bright spot on a football field, or I'm not even going to get into it. That's happening too much in the NFL. We need to cut that off, especially with that particular profession that is very synonymous with professional sports and needed in this entire thing. Nonetheless, Myles Garrett, he did sound like he's not a believer in anything other than maybe business getting done, but can they even do that? And can they still field a team? Will they even be able to be anywhere near a winning football program if they pay Myles and they have to pay Deshaun what they already owed him? Probably not. And you're sitting in the Ravens division. They've already paid Lamar, and they're still just adding pieces to that particular team. And you assume the Pittsburgh Steelers are always going to be a winning franchise. So that's tough. The AFC North going to be tough to kind of get over the hump in. How much does Myles make their life miserable is basically what Schefter was saying. Go ahead, Conman.
Yeah, and I mean, it really does depend on what he said. Like, if it is for, like, I want to go and chase the Super Bowl, then he wouldn't even take the highest paid deal because it would completely handicap their team even more so. And they're not like, and granted, no one's a couple players away. Of course, you need to build an entire team, but they are so bad at football, and they really haven't been that good. Obviously, the coaching hasn't really changed. Stefanski's there another year. They have another year here where it's going to be a new starting quarterback. Like, if he does want a bunch of money and this is a business deal, the entire thing is going to be even worse if they're paying him more.
Michael Cole, you're a Jets fan, so obviously you understand the feeling. Browns fans think, like, we go from bad to worse somehow.
And I was thinking about the Jets with this. So say the Browns decide that, okay, we're gonna trade Garrett, right? And doesn't Myles have to reach an agreement with the new team before it
still
happens?
has 2 years left on his deal.
Well,
but
my point is,
you would assume he would have to.
Do you run into a Hassan Reddick situation?
Yes.
Like last year. So that's the other concern in this whole thing. I mean, Garrett may say that he wants to go to a Super Bowl contender, but I don't think he's leaving the Browns with 2 years left, no guaranteed money. I think he needs to work out a new deal with the new team.
New deal, trade compensation. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this if they were to get traded. But the Browns could get a haul in trying to rebuild a team that they've kind of already messed up. You know, a lot of people wonder why Andrew Barry's still there, why Stefanski's there. I think the ownership were the ones that forced the Deshaun Watson move. So I think they kind of feel bad. I think the ownership's like, well, I haven't even given you guys really a chance. So I think Andrew Barry's in a position now. Does he start looking to the future to rebuild? Because the haul you can get from Myles Garrett is certainly something. But I assume ownership is like, we're not getting rid of Myles Garrett either. So there's always, you know, I don't want to say politics, but there is always shit happening behind the scenes.
Once someone says they want out, why do you want them as a part of your organization anymore?
Happens in the NFL, and money has a funny way of kind of figuring out those types of situations and those issues. This is Defensive Player of the Year, though. This is a whole different level of conversation. I personally, if I was running a team, would hopefully not be in a position that the Browns currently.
Never.
Hopefully never, you know. But if a guy doesn't want to be here, get him the hell out of here. Yeah. That is not somebody we want in our team. But Myles Garrett is a guy that's like, if we can have him on our team, we would certainly like to have him on our squad. But what I was asking you about, Browns fans got to think like we're dead. Jets fans always think we're dead. But don't forget, the Commanders fans thought they were dead too just 1 year ago. Now, new ownership, new coach, new quarterback, had to do a whole cycle, but now all of a sudden they're up and in there. Do you think there's a chance that's coming for the Jets, obviously with new head coach, new GM? Do you think there's a chance of that?
So we've had the longest playoff drought in all the four major sports. It's been, 2010? I don't even remember the last time we were in the playoffs.
Forever.
So the point is, Aaron Glenn, I was concerned about him in the beginning because I thought it was a Robert Saleh situation all over again. Defensive coordinator comes in, first-time head coach, has to build the team around him. But then I listened to his press conference, and it was much different than anything I've ever heard out of any coach since Rex Ryan when he took over the team. He was fired up. It sounds like he's not going to take any nonsense. He's not going to take any BS. He's a former Jet player, so he's invested in this franchise. I remember watching him. He was a stud. So, I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. The key is they have a lot of talent, like I said earlier. There is a lot of talent on this team. And I think if they bring Rodgers back and Aaron wants to come back and they get good leadership, because the coaching staff sucked last year. It stunk. I mean, when they got rid of Saleh and they brought in the other brick guy, he stunk. So at the end of the day,
he just became defense coordinator.
The
Falcons. Sorry.
So at the end of the day, if Rodgers comes back, we have a lot of talent. Aaron Glenn's got to just try to change the culture in the clubhouse.
It is possible, though. Commanders were able to do it. Now, granted, going to have to get new leadership, which they have done. Browns fans, I think they all just understand until this Deshaun deal's done, which is another 2 years.
Yep.
We just got to kind of sit on this thing, and it's just going to suck. So, shout out to the Miz. Shout out to people of Cleveland. We'll be in your town tonight.
Yep.
Can't wait to talk about it. Can't wait to talk about it. Maybe Miles comes through WWE Monday Night Raw.
Ooh.
Speaking of Monday Night Raw, every city we go to, every person in every building puts their hands up like this, and then they say, yeet. Every celebrity that comes through the WWE, no matter their stature, no matter how long they've been famous for, no matter how many fans or followers they have, all they want to do is put their hands up like this and say, yeet. This past weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium, there were 70,000 plus with their hands just like this, and then they would go, yeet, to this man who punched his ticket to the main event of WrestleMania by winning the Men's Royal Rumble 2 days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, future Hall of Famer as a member of the Usos. What will his singles career look like? Well, vastly different now that he's won the Royal Rumble. Ladies and gentlemen, with a rocket ship on his back, Jey Uso.
Hey.
What up, man?
What up, Pat? Hey, man, thanks for the introduction, Oof.
Yeah, no problem. You've earned it. You deserve it. I see you wearing that shirt, one of one, the Big Jim. Jimmy Uso presented to you alongside Jacob Fatu back in Gorilla immediately after the Rumble. Let's talk about it. How emotional were you? Was it in the ring? Was it when you got to the back? When did it really all settle in that you're now going to the main event of WrestleMania?
Man, it hasn't hit me yet hard at all because right now it feels like another day at the office. You know what I'm saying? We did Royal Rumble in Indianapolis. Got on the road. It was headed to Cleveland. You know, I'm just trying to mark the shows off right now with my son back here somewhere. You
and
know,
baby Jace.
Yeah. Say what up. Yeah. We moving. It was emotional though when I seen my brothers waiting on me in the back, and I knew there was a camera right there. I wanted to cry right there when I was hugging them, but I was like, not right now, cuz not right now. We still working, but feels good, man. Feels good. It ain't hit me yet though. Oops.
Well, it should feel very good, and I want to let you know, me and Cole almost cried whenever it happened. It came out of nowhere, obviously. Incredible performance by you, knocking off John Cena. You did see him, and you knocked his ass out of the ring at the end there. When you're sitting in the ring and you hear 70,000 people go crazy at excitement, do you understand that all the hard work is paying off? And do you understand that this is a moment you've dreamed of? You said it's another day at the office, but it's been a long road to get to this point. Have you thought back on it at all? And how do you kind of feel? And what do you do next now heading into WrestleMania?
And I'm still at the drawing board, but I do appreciate all the love and all the text messages, all the thank yous. It was just a lot of love, man. A lot of people behind me. When I did push John out the ring, man. My first. I kept saying, S word. You know, I did it. And it didn't hit me until like this moment right here. And now John's in there with me, and I'm like, man, what the fuck? Oh, my bad. So I'm like, well, we about to go again. I'm like, I thought I pushed your ass out the ring already. But yeah, he's just giving respect right here. For sure.
Obviously, you've been around the business long time. The bloodline, your family's been around the business a long time. Royal Rumble, winning it is historically significant for any situation. What have you heard from the family? What have you heard from Dad, maybe? What have you heard from everybody? And how have those messages been? Go ahead, Cole.
Jay, before you answer that, I don't know if Pops told you, but as soon as the Rumble was over, I was staying out at the airport, and I walked into the hotel, and your dad was there. And he was in the back, and they had a Rumble watch party. And you didn't, your dad had no idea what was going on. And he walked out, and he had these tears in his eyes, and he gave me this massive hug. That's Rikishi, of course, the Hall of Famer. And Keish said to me, he goes, he had no words for it. I mean, he was so incredibly proud of you. And as you know, he has been one of your biggest supporters through all of this and all the ups and downs in your career. And it was just an incredible moment for me to see him and see that emotion out of him when you had just won that match.
Yeah, man. My dad called right when I was in the locker room. He called Jace, actually, and then Jace gave me the phone, and I had him on FaceTime, and I was back there with John, CM Punk, my brothers were there, so we did have a good talk, man. But I love my father. He looks at me like just like his son again, like rooting for me. It feels good. I like to keep because my dad knows everything in the business, man. So I'm not gonna tell him everything. I want to surprise him too. And he was, man. He was very excited, man. Shout out to my dad, man. I think I am though. Like I saw a picture today, like out of all my family, it's Rock, Roman, Yokozuna, and now I get to be a part of that group, man. So there's 4 of us, man. So I'm ready to rock with it, man. I'm just this Yeet train is just starting, bro. I'm going to WrestleMania, Oos. I'm gonna take one of these titles off one of these fools, regardless of who it is, because it's all business now, man. That's what all I'm about, and I just want to show the world what something different. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me, man. Come on, man. We can hold this for 10 minutes and they'll stay.
Yeah, they certainly will, which is a big part of the story, And I mentioned it during the introduction. Since I've been back, every arena we've gone into, and before I left, every arena we were in, and then internationally at France and all those other stops, every single person is pumped whenever you come into the building. There's there's an aura that radiates around you. Every celebrity that gets involved with the WWE wants to come out and yeet with you. And then there's some reaction on the internet of people being a little bit bummed out that you won the Rumble. Have you seen that? How do you feel about that? And how do you frame that in your mind?
That's them, Moose.
Yeah.
Like, that's them. That's your opinion, Moose. You don't strap my boots every week. You're not on the road like I am every week. Like you said earlier, I saw earlier, it was all the bumps, handshakes, all that side step that don't nobody see, all the early flights, rental cars, man. I ain't pushing up and, we ain't traveling with security guards around me. I'm in the trenches like everybody else, man. I don't pay no mind to that, Oos. If anything, like I don't need none of that, Oos. I'm gonna just focus right here. Oos, tunnel vision. You either hop on the train or get off the train. But there's a lot of haters out there, Oos. They talking because they can't walk it. So I'm just excited, bro. I'm all on the positive part. I've never thought I would be at this level, Pat. But now I'm here.
Hell yeah.
I'm here, and I got places to go to. Yeet.
And you've earned it too, yes. Jay. I love hearing that.
Jay, listen, there's a lot of people in WWE that knew you were going to get to this point at some point in your career. I mean, I had the honor to call your very first match with your brother in WWE, and you know me, I've been along for the ride for so many years with you, and I think, when you broke out into your singles career and this whole thing, the whole story with the bloodline and Roman and you turning on Roman, that really changed something for you, and you truly became the main event Jey Uso, and I'm so proud of you.
Hell yeah, Jay.
Well, thanks, Cole. Jay. Hey, appreciate it. Hey, Cole, man, 3 times, man. Come on, man. We need to get that, bro. So, you can do the daps with me correctly, but why everybody else?
I don't know, because you and I got a rhythm, I guess. But
you do not have rhythm at all. Let's just make sure that is clear.
I do thank Jay for one thing. Even in the moment of you celebrating winning the biggest match of your career, you still took the time afterward in the ring with Pat, me, and Wade to yeet, and also teach me how to yeet properly.
There you go. Hey, I appreciate you doing that, Jay. Thank you.
Thanks. It was you over there doing jumping yeet. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, hitting that thing sideways, Jay. I mean, it is a whole new game. The entrance has obviously taken over the world. The yeet movement has taken over the world. D-Butt has a question for you, Oos.
Yeah, Big Oos. Congratulations once again, man. It was dope seeing you in there, enjoying that with your son especially, man. But where did the yeet originate? Like, where did that come up? Was it just part of how you're talking with somebody else and then you just brought it to the stage and then transcended even the business at this point? Where did that originate?
Man, me, my brothers, Roman, always said it like it's just slang term, like yeah, like that. It was with EE, and we from the West too, so a bunch of my family say it's a West Coast slang too. Then it became yeet with like the little memes or whatever, but that's how people originally think I got it from. But we've been on it, and then I had a press conference with Cody, man. Shout out to Cody Rhodes, man. He helped me put the yeet on because as soon as he started, he said it like 2 times, and then the next week I had a shirt, so I was like, cool, appreciate it. I'm about to rock with this, and I just then this came with it. Now the yeet came with this, and I didn't never put 2 together. It just worked together. You know,
Yep.
and Pat, there's a certain point in the theme music where the beat, you said it on TV. She's like, "Hold up, Cole, you're doing it, so you got to wait for the beat to drop." I'm like, "Man, that's right, man. Come on, dog. Come on, wait. Okay, go." Ugh.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, it's fun watching arenas filled with people with rhythm and without it.
Sure.
You know, kind of catch on. But that is a moment of unity in every single city. I mean, it is.
You got to be there, Oos.
It is so cool. It is so cool to be a part of. When you're watching it TV, I couldn't fathom. But being in the middle of it, I black out in the middle of it. I'm having so much fun. I couldn't even imagine how you feel. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Jay, one of the things you do on a weekly basis is kind of come out from, you know, the crowd, which has been really cool. You were with Travis Scott, and he was burning some sage, and you guys were walking down in the arena, and those environments are insane. We were there on Saturday, and when you came out, the pop was insane, and everyone was yeeting all over the place. But how are those kind of entrances different from the ones where you're coming from the stage? Is there ever a time where you're walking down and you're worried, you know, maybe you might have to boot someone in the face because they get in your way? Or what's kind of the difference in that type of entrance?
Man, so the craziest part with the concourse entrance, I got to go up. I have time to go up through the concourse, but when I'm sitting there waiting for my music to hit, they're counting me down. Oosh, you got 1 minute. Oosh, you got 1 minute. So I'm sitting there waiting. And when I mean that's the craziest part of that entrance is when I'm sitting in the concourse with the people. I'm talking about before I even walk out, like sitting there waiting to go. That is crazy, man. And there was one moment where I was shooting the shot, shooting the shot to come out through the concourse, and the people weren't in the shot. So I switched cameras around to make it look like it was busy behind me, and the shot just came out right. You know, I mean they're producing too. Oos. Hey, I'm like, hey yo, Oos, let's walk this way and then turn this way because the people's here. But now when that shot came out, that was my first shot I did. Now it's every time, Oos, I want them. I want all the kids, bro. Give me all the kids, man. You know, it's very fun, man. I got goosebumps thinking about it because I hope I get to do it tonight.
Yeah, I hope so too. You know, and Cleveland needs it.
Yes, they do.
Cleveland needs to eat tonight.
Yeah.
You know, Myles Garrett just requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland hasn't won anything along. Yeah, they need you. Hey, they need you tonight, Jay. You know,
I got him. Yeah. I got him. I got you, Cleveland. I got you.
Okay. Hey, put the company on the back and a city on the back tonight. Ty has a question for you, Jay.
Jay, being in the crowd and yeeting with 70,000+ strong was, you know, it's something I'll remember for a long time. So congratulations, Oos. But just curious, like when you're in the ring for the Rumble, how do you not let the emotion of maybe like a previous rivalry or bad blood you have with other guys get in the way and kind of sidetrack you from what the ultimate goal is? We saw, you know, everything with Roman and Seth and Punk, and it kind of ended up biting those guys in the ass. How do you put that stuff away and just focus on the task at hand?
Man, my strategy was like, if you pay attention to the Royal Rumble, I was kind of low and in the corner, man. I was wrapped around the bottom rope like an anaconda, like for half the time I was in there, man. Geez. I was just looking. Whoever came close to me, that's the next person who I got to get. Other than that, man, everybody was like in their feelings and stuff, man. I'm trying to. They won a couple Royal Rumbles and they won a couple championships, man. So I knew what I needed to do to put myself in a position, and then when it was go time, it was go time. That's when John Cena had to come see me, cuz.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. John Cena looked good. Hey, he looked good, didn't he? I mean, you talking.
Man, he always looked good, man.
48.
Wow. Hey, it's Jay. What about what you were at the press conference, the post show? What about what John said? And you've known John a long time, like I have. I've never heard John in the mood that he was in that night, and he basically said, "I've done everything for this company for 25 years. It's time to put myself first. I think the best thing for business is for me to main event WrestleMania, for me to win my 17th title to set a record." And he said he's going to go to Elimination Chamber and win Elimination Chamber and main event WrestleMania alongside you in Toronto, 4 weeks, March 1st. You know, and I think John believes that. I mean, you know, to me, he's the greatest of all time. And I know that you have some feelings for John as well. So what did it feel like for you, Jay, to actually eliminate that legend?
Man, Cole, man, that man like raised me in the business. The old schedule was crazy, Cole. You know, like working 5 days out the week, man. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, go home Wednesday, repack Thursday, back out Friday. So we spent a lot of time with him. and he just taught us the game, man. And then when he comes back and he sees where me and my brother are, or how we transcended now, man, all he does is just say how proud he is of us, and like he loves us, man. And my family loves John too. John has been around my family for decades, man. So it's like full circles. When he came back in the ring and hugged me, man, I said what he told me, man. Like, I remember your first tour, like he was shooting on me. He's like, turn me around. He's like, look at these people, man. Like when he starts pointing, he's like, look at them. This is all for you. It was congratulations. Love you. And he let me have the ring, man. That's when I was like, well, there was just 29 people up in here, and that was just me. Oh,
just you, Oos. Day one-ish, we're all proud of you. I think anybody associated with the WWE is incredibly proud of the work you've put in. They talk about being over. And for those that aren't in the wrestling business, being over is like being liked, being respected, being appreciated by the fans. To say you're over would be an understatement, and I can't wait to watch the people show you some love tonight. You've earned it all, brother. Enjoy it. I'll see you in Cleveland. So will Cole here in a matter of moments.
all right, man. Hey, man. If I come through the concourse, man, I'm hopping the barricade. I'm gonna come dap y'all up. Now, come on, man. Give it to me.
Come on, Cole. Let's embarrass our families tonight
Now
or
I'm
our
under
races.
Oh, Cole, you better get your yeet. You better get
I'm
your
under
yeet
pressure,
down,
Jay,
too,
now.
man.
Yeah, can you just with Cole?
No, man. We gonna teach him.
Right.
We gotta teach him.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, tell Jace. Go ahead.
I was about to say no, because that last handshake with Quavo you did, I was like, oh, Lord, we gotta
Quavo
gotta
actually
teach him.
whispered to me and said it's the worst thing he's ever seen.
Yeah, worst shit of all time, I believe, is the case. In the middle of the place going crazy. Tell Jace we said what's up, and congratulations yet again, man. You're going to WrestleMania.
Love, boss. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
You too, ladies and
Thanks,
gentlemen. Jey Uso.
Yeah.
It's just him, Oos.
Think about what he said. The four members of the Anoa'i family who have won the Royal Rumble: Yokozuna, The Rock, Roman Reigns, and now Jey Uso.
Yeah.
What company?
Well, there's an interview where Roman Reigns documentary, I believe it was his A&E documentary, where he talked about how if I'm the only one that benefits from this, it's all been a mistake, and how he's tried to put over everybody. That's why it was the bloodline that was like, hey, we're lifting this up. That family, their importance to the WWE and to my life entertainment, massive. And now Jey Uso is earning his own trail to the top of the entire thing.
Yeah, I saw that clip as well. And Jimmy Uso gets like very emotional in it. And you can just tell how much it means to obviously them just being able to do it all together. And that Cena thing, I didn't know that's what he said to Jay after that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is. Look around. This is all for you. I remember your first tour. Those moments where the OG comes in and I don't want to say puts over, but that is kind of what happens and like shows respect. There's always been moments in the past where The Rock lifts up Roman's hand in front of everybody. I think The Rock did it to Cena as well. I think Stone Cold, it's like this is a big moment here.
It's the passing of the torch.
In the business, in the business as such. Cena's had to do it for numerous people.
Yeah, and that's the thing about John, and that's why to me he's the greatest of all time, because the sustained longevity of him in the business and just coming back and doing this for people. I mean, John could have been selfish. I mean, he's one of the biggest stars on the planet. He could have walked in and said, I want to win the Royal Rumble, right? And go to WrestleMania. He didn't do that. He understood what was important to Jey Uso and what's important
Well,
to the
he
company.
tried.
He tried to win.
Yeah, he tried. He tried to win. He obviously
tried like hell.
He did try like hell.
Holding on.
Oh, for dear life. He's
What's
locked in
that?
there. The socks and shoes, people are talking about Cena.
Love him.
Okay, you thought this is best fit he's had?
I think so. I think that's just a guy who's comfortable with his age, comfortable with his look, and he's trying to win. He's not trying to win the popular vote.
Yeah, he is trying to win a popular vote, though. We're trying to move these socks.
Yeah,
and
but
shoes.
I mean, you walk around that stadium, the last time is now. I mean, you couldn't find one of those shirts.
Yeah, and it was Colts blue, too, which is beautiful.
It was.
Yeah, he said, didn't he say he got inspo from you?
Yeah, I gave a little love. You know, me and John have had some incredible conversations. I appreciate and respect the hell out of John. Also, because John is going to be an Oscar winner. Like, John in a promo said, like, I'm more likely to win an Oscar, which we know is going to happen, than probably whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, John, really good actor.
Don't sell yourself
John
short.
does not have to come back to the WWE. Like, John has already cemented his legacy. John is already a GOAT conversation. Michael Cole calls him the GOAT. And his movie career is only
taking off.
It's only getting started with how great he is. And he's willing to do anything.
Yeah.
People call them humiliation rituals or whatever is what people say about John. John Cena's willing to do whatever. And that is why John Cena, once again, is John Cena. Has never taken himself seriously, but takes his work seriously. It's like the perfect combination of a superstar.
Well, the other thing, too, is that John he understands how important the WWE fans have been for his entire career. So he wants to give back. So what he's doing is he's doing this year-long retirement tour. And the next stop is in Elimination Chamber in Toronto, and then he goes on to WrestleMania, and this is it for him. But he's going to visit some 30-something cities this year so the fans can see him for one more time. And I think it's pretty cool.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, as we pivot away from the WWE, back to some football conversation, is a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, a Ryder Cup winner. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. Hawker, I know you were yeeting over there in Ohio alongside all of us, and congrats to Jey Uso. Let's talk about some football. Myles Garrett has requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. How do you feel about that? You think this is a business move? And did you hear Schefter basically say, I don't know if the Browns are going to let him go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's partly a business move. But he definitely wants out of there. I feel like the whole complacency thing. I feel like in the his message right here that you have popped up, that tells you a lot. He feels like, yeah, there's no future here in Cleveland. There's no path to a Super Bowl, I guess, anytime soon. But I don't know, man. I don't know if how do you keep him around? Like, he's not going to come into the facility. When does he come back? If you say, nah, we're good, we're not trading it.
Well, he doesn't have to for a long time. You know, mandatory OTAs and minicamp aren't until, June or May or something like that. So there's a lot of time between now and then. But I think if you listen to anybody talk about this, to get a trade done, there's going to have to be a lot of stuff that gets done. You know, the amount of things that are going to have to get figured out. And as Cole iterated to, Hassan Reddick gets traded to the Jets. They just think it's going to be okay. They don't get a deal done with him. He never steps foot in the building. Myles Garrett's going to need a deal done, we assume, before he gets anywhere. The amount of compensation is going to be great. You go back to the Khalil Mack deal whenever he was 27 years old to Chicago out of the Raiders. It's like there's a lot of work that has to get done for a deal to come to place for Myles Garrett, but he certainly made a bird call for that. And then, him saying he wants to win, not just go to Canton, what is a contender? A contender in his eyes is basically how Schefter talked about it. Well, are they going to pay top dollar for Myles Garrett, or is he going to take a discount to go to some of these places? There's just so many questions now that are out there. Inevitably, the Browns control all of it, AJ.
Yeah, but I want to know how much power Myles Garrett has. Does he have power in his contract to where he can shut a trade down if he does not want to go to a team? He doesn't have any power like that?
No, that's what Schefter brought up. Is this is the Browns basically have all the power here, but Myles would have to get a deal done any place he goes to, so that's the control that he has. If somebody's willing to offer up 3 ones or 2 ones, a second and a fourth for Myles Garrett, if they can't get a deal done, they're not going to pull the trigger, you would hope. Even though the Jets have been able to do it in the past, unless they already talked to Myles and Myles says, yes, we get a deal done. Because Myles could do what Jimmy Butler just did. Jimmy Butler basically told the Warriors, I'm not going to do a long-term agreement with you. So they pulled their offer. They said they're not going to trade with the Miami Heat. So Myles has all to say because of that. But inevitably, if the Browns don't want to move on, it's the Browns' say and not Myles Garrett.
Yeah, it happened with Brandon Ayuk over the offseason with the New England Patriots, where the Niners and the Patriots agreed to terms on a trade, and then the Patriots and Brandon Ayuk couldn't come to terms on a contract. So inevitably, obviously, it fell through, and then Brandon Ayuk still got paid in San Fran.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the football world, specifically in Ohio. Myles Garrett in Cleveland, he says he's out. Chip Kelly heading over to the Raiders to be the offensive coordinator alongside Pete Carroll. Now the Ohio State Buckeyes have lost both of their coordinators after winning a national championship. When you win, there's enough to go around. Doesn't mean it's going to be here, though. Could be somewhere else. He's allegedly making $6 million a year. And then offensive line coach for Ohio State, obviously very important piece of it all, Justin Fry. Friend of the program, guy who was talking shit to me on the field as they were running away with it against the Oregon Ducks. He's set to become the Arizona Cardinals offensive line coach. So you guys are losing pieces over there in Columbus. Is everything going to be okay for the Buckeyes, AJ? I know Ryan Day's on the media circuit still. Right? Is Ryan Day, has he done another interview?
I guess.
While all these coaches are leaving, and can they not get a hold of him to negotiate new deals, or was this expected for the Buckeyes, AJ?
I don't know if this was expected. I did see when Ryan Day was with Joel Klatt shortly after the news hit about Chip Kelly, he did say, we talked with Chip. It sounds like Chip wanted to come win a national championship and then move on to the NFL.
We have the clip.
He did it. Yeah, okay, he did it year 1.
We do have the clip from Joel Klatt show.
It's just kind of breaking as we're recording this about Chip. So what did it mean for you? to have him with you to reach the mountaintop, because you guys go way back, and everyone has talked about it. We talked about it for a long time. He was your coach. You guys have known each other all the way back, to when you were a youngster. What did it mean to you to do this with him?
That was great. It was great. And, we talked about it, the fact that, we had a really good group here, and, the dream would be to win a national championship. And then, he decides whether he wants to stay or have an opportunity to go to the NFL. And it's exactly what happened. And, just to be able to, have a beer in a few years, and talk about the year that we had together is going to be special, because we all started together, and this is why I started with him. And we went and did that. And what a great story. And I know so many people back home in New Hampshire are just excited for him and for the story. It's pretty special.
Love Joel Klatt, obviously. I think I hate Ryan Day. Guy's not every show but ours.
Yeah.
Even the Kelly Clarkson show.
Yep.
I think, no offense, Kelly Clarkson, but what's that?
What's that about?
I don't know. Fuck him. Legitimately. Good luck the rest of the way. It might be because of the fake Lou Holtz.
Could be.
But nothing but a fan of the Ohio State Buckeye team. He did mention about how that was kind of the plan, and obviously he and Chip know each other very well. Ryan will be able to retool, right? He'll be able to rekey through this all. Will it be within staff, you think, or you think he'll be bringing from outside in A.J. Hawk?
I mean, that's what everybody is asking in Columbus. Like, where do you promote from within? Who do you bring in? But also, I mean, Chip got $6 million to be a coordinator. Like, are you going to pay a college coordinator? You're going to say, okay, we'll give you 6.1. Like, that's what it is now in college football. If you win, you not only do you have to recruit your players, you kind of have to retain your coaches now, it seems like.
Yeah, and obviously, whenever you have as prolific as a run that you had, especially offensively, that Chip Kelly had with this Ohio State team, they were just a buzzsaw to Tennessee, to Oregon, Texas, maybe not as much. They didn't play their A game, but then a national championship against Notre Dame, able to do it yet again. And on a 3rd and 11, the play design, the play setup, the execution, all great, top notch. So Chip Kelly checked every box that he's ready once again to be an offensive coordinator in the NFL and run his offense in the NFL. I like Chip. I think he's going to have success. Yeah. And how much happier do you think this time around the NFL is going to be without having to be a head coach, just like he was in Columbus? He probably loved his life, only have to deal with one side of the ball.
So much better. And when Will Howard was on, he spoke very, very highly of him and how much just he taught him the game and how much he saw the game. So it would be interesting if they pair up again on the next level. But was it Brian Hartline, the co-offensive coordinator last year? He's still on staff, right?
Yeah, and his pictures being tweeted by Jeremiah Smith and others whenever they're asking if he's going to get poached, if the player's going to go anywhere else, they're like, nah, we're here for the Hartline party, brothers.
Yeah.
So that'd be an easy hire from within that is beloved everywhere?
I would expect just to be the sole OC and then probably a nice bump in pay if I had to assume. But defensively, I mean, you lose Jim Knowles. That's obviously a big gap to fill. I know the general is still hanging around drawing up blitzes, but that'd be a big job to fill.
At Penn State, too, I thought Dan Connor was potentially doing a lot more with that Penn State defense towards the end of the year as they moved Tom Allen up into the booth. And then whenever Knowles comes in, I don't know if Dan Connor's sticking around or not, but there'll be names that Ryan Day will be able to get. And with all the weapons you're going to have with an Ohio State roster, I assume there's people eager to get there. The only thing about Hartline is I don't know if he's ever called plays before. Chip Kelly has. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is a massive thing. Mm-hmm. It's not just like a plug-and-play position where you're like, you know what? This guy, good recruiter, good position coach, seemingly has it figured out. Will he be able to call plays? We assume Hartline will. I'm just saying it's not as easy just to say this guy's going to be a good play caller because you have no idea until it happens.
Yeah.
And there might be a little bit of, you don't want to say regression, but Will Howard had played a shitload of football. Whoever's going to start at quarterback for them next year, if it's Julian Sayin, who's a 5-star prospect or whoever it might be, it's going to be their first time playing meaningful football. And we know how Ohio State fans can get. So if things don't look unbelievable right away, there's a chance that you're dealing with all that outside noise. So we'll see.
Happened to Michigan last year. I believe Michigan had they obviously lose Jim Harbaugh. They lose their defensive coordinator. They lost 18 players to the draft. You guys don't lose as many players to the draft, but you're losing coordinators. You're losing position coaches. Whenever you're the champs and all eyes are on you, there's going to be people that are wondering if they can get their hands on some of that. This is certainly the case for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, let's head over to Hammer, Dahn. AP Tone put out a tweet on Sunday that was so perfect. So, right in my feelings, and I think a lot of people's are, you try to put on a strong face and you tell yourself you're going to be okay. But then that first Sunday with no football hits like a sledgehammer to the chest. And you realize you're not as strong as you thought you were. check on your brothers today. Send some texts. Say, hey, we got the Pro Bowl games today, but we don't even have 2 games like we had on Championship Sunday. We don't have anything. Yesterday we had the Royal Rumble, thank God. But if this was an entire weekend of no action, boy, it'd be tough. We're staring that down in a few weeks, but not this week. The biggest game of the season is this Sunday. AP Tone, what are some trends or betting things we should be looking into?
Yeah, it was a tough day, brother, and I'm glad everybody checked in, and I appreciate everyone for doing that. Stay strong out there, everybody. It is Super Bowl week, and there is an absolute ton of betting trends. So, you know what, I decided, let's start with the big ones, the easy ones, before we get into the nitty-gritty all week long. And we will start. The Kansas City Chiefs are favored by 1.5. The total is 48.5, and 69% of the bets are on the Eagles at plus 1.5. Now, is that just because everybody wants to see the Eagles win? Most likely. Do they hate the Chiefs? Yes. But, you know, everyone's always against the Chiefs. But look at that right there. 7-0 against the spread in the playoffs when the spread is less than 3, which it is. Why don't we all just bet on the Chiefs? Maybe we won't hate the Chiefs as much as we just bet on them and win all the time. That's something to think about.
Well, in years past, you bet on them and they never cover.
Bingo.
That was like kind of the move. Now, though, if it's less than 3, they cover. You know why? Because close games, the Chiefs win. That's kind of their MO. But these stats seemingly all contradicting each other.
They are. The Chiefs were in that one, and then we have the Eagles, who have led at halftime in 13 of their last 15 games. And we look back to the last Super Bowl when they were up by 10 against Kansas City in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. The Eagles are great first half team. So is that something you want to look at here? I went into it. If you take the Eagles plus the 1.5 in the first half, and then you take the Chiefs money line, that's plus 400, Pat. So if you think, maybe the game script goes Eagles first half, Chiefs full game, plus 400 is not bad right there. Talking about, back and forth, the Chiefs always win, the Eagles here. What's it mean? Dogs have covered 13 of the 17 last Super Bowls. That is for the Eagles. Another one for the Eagles. Favorites, or the team with the better record in the regular season, is 2-19-1 against the spread. That is the Chiefs. I don't know what that means. I don't know why that happens, but that's just the case there. The white jersey wearing team has won 16 of the past 20 Super Bowls. Kansas City is the away team in the Super Bowl because they rotate AFC, NFC, home, away. So that would go for the Chiefs. And then lastly, as far as the total, 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls have been lower scoring affairs than what the people thought they would be. But that Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl is the second highest scoring Super Bowl of all time. So will it be a repeat?
Okay. Thank you, Tone. All these numbers go different directions.
Yeah.
You can find whatever stat to make you feel better about how you feel if you want to go searching for it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just the fact of the matter whenever it comes to it. 1.5 point spread. They think it's going to be a close game. Chiefs never lose close games.
No, they don't.
That is just kind of their MO. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, Spags, Coach Tobe, and the boys at Kansas City always win. But will this year be different? Because the bully of the Eagles might be able to change the course of history. AJ, did you learn anything from those trends right there, pal?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I know we'll make a pick eventually, but, man, it's tough not to lean Chiefs early, I think, in this one.
Okay, so Age might be giving a little something away there on Monday. We'll obviously get down to Radio Row starting on Wednesday. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to introduce a man who changed businesses, not just one industry, multiple industries and multiple businesses on many of occasions. He is a guy who is great at everything he seemingly does. His aura radiates through every building he is in. Just a few weeks ago, he walked into a building that wasn't necessarily on his side. And he stared right through him and said, "Let me tell you something, brother. Let me chit-chat about what is special." He's the co-founder of Real American Beer, joined by the mouth of the South, ladies and gentlemen, Hulk Hogan! Yeah, baby. All right. Watch yourself, boys.
There it is. There it is. That's the move.
Good swing. Good putt.
Holster, it's an honor.
How you doing, Holster?
It's all right. How are you?
Jimmy, watch.
Just like I told Jesse Waters.
Hell yeah, Jimmy.
It went like this. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Everybody wondering who's going to win the Super Bowl. It's going to be the champ. The team that drinks the most real American beer is going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. Okay, all right. Okay, if that's the indicator, I think early favorites, Philadelphia Eagles.
I would agree.
Philadelphia Eagles.
What do you think, Jimmy?
Okay, I'm out on the south side. Everybody's boozing over there in Philadelphia. You can sit down right there if you want to, Hulkster.
Cool.
We got some real American beer in the building already.
Do you really?
Yeah, the boys have some.
Cold?
That guy right over there at the Talks table, Ty Schmidt, he'll actually drink 4 to 5 of them in the middle of the afternoon. So he loves everything about them.
Strong, brother.
Yeah, got to do it.
How'd you get into the beer business, brother?
That's a long story.
You know,
Short story.
Everybody talks about
Jimmy Hart. I've been with him 45 years. He's never had one drink, never done one drug in 45 years.
just vitamins, huh?
Watch out for John.
Watch out.
Watch out, Jimmy.
Yes.
Hit it with the steel chair.
He just proved.
Gee, okay, all right, sweet Jimmy, we appreciate that. Yeah, because vitamins, take your vitamins, do the entire thing was the conversation.
Yeah, I know.
But hey, listen.
I know, brother.
Yeah, but as you get older, brother, you got to have a nice cold beer every once in a while.
Yeah,
Especially when you're down
old
there.
school. You have a couple cold beers before you go to the ring, brother.
Yeah, old school. Hey, Hogan's Hangout, we're definitely going to have a couple cold beers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you got to do.
No, this whole thing was kind of like just happened by chance because I got my partner Chad in the back. This is our company. It's not a celebrity endorsed company or percentage deal. We actually own the company, and we were at a convention. And I wasn't with the WWE for this appearance because I still have to deal with them, of course. But I wasn't with the WWE this appearance. I was there with Chad, and we were doing other business. And as the people come through the line, I like to shake hands, look people in the eye, because everybody has like a Hulk Hogan story. And like I always say, if you're 90 years old, you were watching me when you were 50, And so it goes all the way back to the young kids still know what's going on with me. So as I'm reading name tags and saying hello to people and listening to their stories, I grew up watching you, or I bonded with my father with you, or when my dad died, you became the father figure. And the stories are crazy. And they're really cool stories from the fans. And I read this one guy's name tag, and it said Vice President of Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. I went, oh my God, that's the beer my dad drank. Because my dad was a construction worker in Florida, and the sun basically beat him to death. He was out in the sun 12, 14 hours a day. And by the time he was 60 years old, he looked like he was 90. But he'd always pour the Pabst Blue Ribbon beer in like a glass and then put salt in it,
Oh, yeah.
And so when I saw the beer, oh man, my dad drank that beer, just lit me up. So the guy said, well, have you ever thought about getting in that beer space? And I went, yeah. My whole career, 40 years, it was training, prayers, and vitamins, the mantra, the character. Hulk Hogan made Terry, the man, a better man as the years went by. And, the Make-A-Wish kids and everything. I said, but since I'm not wrestling anymore.
That being said.
I'm looking for that Wild Wild West deal all the time. Once every 10 years, like a George Foreman grill or something.
Which came and went.
I know. Please don't bring that up.
You did.
I know.
Yeah, brother.
I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. But anyway, make a long story short, he goes, well, would you think about doing something with beer? It's very competitive. I said, yeah, I see this crazy open lane. Because Bud Light really came up with a horrible marketing plan, and they apparently didn't understand their audience like I thought they did. And so I see this open lane for America's beer working backwards. I'm thinking mom, apple pie, baseball, wrestling, NASCAR. There's this crazy open lane because of all the other beers that are so competitive. America doesn't have their own beer, like America's team, like America's beer, and that would be a light beer. And I'm on my feet pivoting, because like when I do promos in wrestling, I don't read a script or anything.
Shooting, brother, yeah.
Like on the way to the ring, I'd be opening the show, and the writers would hand me these pages, like 20 pages, and they were hot. And I look at Vince, and I'd go, really? He'd go, don't worry about it. So I just throw the pages up and go out there. But so I'm pivoting, man. I'm on my feet. I'm dancing, smoking mirrors, trying to figure out how to put a period on the end of this thought, And I'm going, my neighbors don't even talk. The Republicans, the Democrats don't talk. But I said when I used to wrestle I was traveling 300 days a year because there was no Rock, no Stone Cold. It was just me for the first 25 years. And I had to be everywhere. Double shots Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So I'd wrestle like 420 times a year.
Jeez.
That's why I'm so beat up.
Thanks for your service. To the business.
Yeah.
Legitimately, thanks for your service to the business. Beat the shit out of your body.
So I said, when I used to wrestle, all the guys that I wrestled were huge. Earthquake, Andre, Tugboat, One Man Gang. They were always all Jimmy's guys that had to wrestle.
Yeah, Jimmy was working against you there.
So they were all, 350, 425 pounds, King Kong Bundy. Says, hey, brother, come here. You want to talk? Let's talk. I don't never would talk about the match. I just want to know who was going to win or lose.
Yeah, we're calling it out there, brother.
Always call it out there.
Yeah, brother.
You got to listen to the crowd. It's an art form.
Yeah.
So I said, brother, let's sit down. Let's have a beer, because I figured if I could get them to loosen up, they wouldn't beat on me so hard. So I told this guy, the Democrats don't talk. The neighbors don't talk back to my story. I even would, have a beer with the wrestlers. So my idea is bring America back together one beer at a time. And when I said it, I went, holy smokes.
There it is.
Brilliant. And the guy's eyes went, wow, I love that. So we were approached at that convention, because I was at a convention in Atlanta by several other beer companies. And I told Chad, I said, bro, this is too hot right now, because of the way America's percolating right now.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the country back. And this name, Real American Beer, is a home run. It's like pointing to center field. And then now, I ran my mouth because, I was friends with Trump for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I was one of those cowards that I wouldn't wear a Trump hat, or I wouldn't put a bumper sticker on my car. I'd vote for him, but I'd go hide. And then when they tried to kill him, it just pissed me off. Because this is a good guy, bro. I've known him for a long time. He's a good human being. It just pissed me off. And I told my new wife, I said, this might be a deal breaker, but I got to speak up.
Yeah.
And then when I went to the Republican convention and did my thing, they had I'll talk forever. And I did my thing. They had
We have a hard out in 33 seconds.
I got you. They had all these writers that they wanted me to talk for 4 minutes. I had a suit on. I was nervous. And I was trying to do it. And they had a podium in front of me, 2 in the back. And they said, well, I was sweating, nervous. They said, maybe just do 2 minutes. So I went out there, never said a word that was on the teleprompter, talked for 9.5 minutes, and they told my buddy Vo in the back at 6 minutes, we may have to pull him off stage.
All right, we'll continue this conversation
I'm not stopping.
with Hulk Hogan on YouTube, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye. All right, we're still digital. We're still online. We just went off ESPN Linear. They got a chance to see the Hulkster.
I could have shortened the story.
No, don't worry about it. Do not shorten it. But when you go and do that, when you go and do the Republican convention, immediately you're going to piss off 47% of the country, especially with how political hatred is currently in the world.
Yeah.
Do you think that? And first of all, whenever you say a beer bringing the world together, we talk about it a lot. How teams come together a lot more around a keg than they do kale. This modern world that we're in, everybody's worried about drinking because they want their bodies to recover. You have a couple beers with some people, though, you can really learn about each other. You can kind of take the walls down, the guard down, and then really start chit-chatting. I love that was kind of the initiative behind getting behind a beer, is to bring the world together. Then, as a friend of Trump, you go speak for Trump, then you piss off about half of the country.
Yeah.
Are you still in the middle of feeling that? Like at the Intuit Dome, I don't think any of us expected.
No. Oh, I did.
You expected that because of the political stuff, or because of everything else?
But you got to realize, last time I ran hard in L.A., I was a bad guy. I was Hollywood Hogan, man. I was riding dirty with the boys, Nash and Hall, and we were spray painting people and crotch shotting everybody, and started out with the Too Sweet stuff. So last time I was there, I was a heel. But I think the politics had a whole lot to do with it, like you said.
I would say, I would assume you get into politics, and also some other stuff,
Yeah, of course. But at the end...
Yeah. I mean, when you're in a public eye for 40 years.
Yeah, you do slip and fall a couple times.
Yeah, and they're going to see it. Everybody's going to see it.
At the end of the day, we kind of looked at it the next day because, I had 11 billion impressions, and some of the other guys, some of the big stars that were on that car that night only had 3 billion. I don't name names, but... we were
so you were like,
I was like, hate me some more.
We actually ran a press conference the day after. I don't know if you got a chance to see it from the Hulkster, but we have a lot of questions for you. Is that okay?
Yeah, but the one thing is, I was talking about the beer. We're in a relationship with the WWE. They're my partner in this thing, and I had to be a good guy in LA.
Yes.
Now, if this was for wrestling, and they turned on me like that, I'd have turned into Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I said,
Oh, hell yeah.
So you hate me for everything I've done for all the Make-A-Wish kids and everything I did for your kids. Well, guess what? I did it for the money. and by the way, since you want so much hatred coming your way, I hope you have a good time when Kamala Harris, is your new governor, and you're all standing in the soup line. Mic drop. See you.
Jeez Louise.
But I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I was ready. I was ready to go after him.
Well, I thought it was very professional of you to remain positive because I was listening to it and you're much more mentally tough than I am. But you've been obviously 40 years in the wrestling business. This is kind of your gig. You understand people are going to boo. You understand people are going to cheer. You understand the heartbeat of people, which is why you call it an art form. You want to do what they're telling you to do. Living in a spotlight for 40 years, a lot of things happen. With that being said, we have a lot of questions about a lot of it. And this guy loves real American beer.
I do. I'd suck down a nice cold one right now. But just curious, being a big fan, when was the time like where you realized, like, I assume it wasn't overnight, but where it's like, oh shit, I can't go anywhere anymore without everyone noticing me? Because like you said, you were the company for the longest time. What was that point in time where it was like, shit, I just am Hulk Hogan now. Everywhere I go, no matter what I do.
Well, honestly, it's like, before I was in the WWF, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, before it became the WWF. So I was there working for Vince Sr. And when I came in, I was a bad guy. I was green as hell. My punches, kicks, everything looked horrible. But I sold out Shea Stadium with Andre, had a bunch of matches with Backlund. I was a bad guy, and I've told everybody this. They fired me when I did the Rocky movie. So I split, and I was single at the time, and I had a beautiful girl in Japan, which I love hanging out with. And I was up in Minnesota working for Vern Gagne, the best place in the world if you're a wrestler. When there were territories everywhere, they paid really well, and you only had to work 4 days a week. So bang, those other 3 days I was in Japan, and we got this huge team together, and we were going to push towards the East Coast. That was our whole goal. And at the time, I got a card from a photographer at the Rosemont Horizon, said, call Vince. I said, I'm not calling Vince, man. He fired me. He goes, no, Vince Jr. So I called Vince Jr., and when I went there, I'd already had that Hulkamania thing started in Minnesota. And when I went back, and they didn't play music, they didn't have merchandise, and I was doing the music thing in Minnesota, selling merchandise. When I went back, they weren't doing any of it. So the night I went to the Garden, they played Eye of the Tiger. The roof blew off the place and broke. From that day forward, it was like riding a lightning bolt. That whole Hulkamania thing took off. It was crazy.
Yeah?
And it was like everywhere I went, I couldn't go, hey, I'm Terry. I have you. Hey, what's up, brother? You had to give him just a little sauce.
The amount of how many brothers do you drop nowadays?
Brother. The problem is I can't remember anybody's name.
Brother.
It's my age, and I've been hitting the head so darn much. That's one of the things. So I went back to the WWE in like 2002 or 6. Jimmy, what was it? They said, chair shots, you had to put your hand up. I said, why would I put my hand up? I said, because, the concussion thing, because I never put my hand up before.
Eating it.
Yeah, you just lean into it, bro, and take the shot. Whoa.
How many, have you done the math on how many matches? You said
No.
4 days I'm doing Minnesota, then the other 3 I'm doing Japan. Japan's like a 16-hour flight?
Well, it depends where you leave from. If you leave from JFK, it's about 14 straight through. And if you go to drink with a giant all the way there, it's like a year. Because I used to do the 747, I'd go hide upstairs, and I'd go, hey, boss. My seat was right next to Rusinoff, which was Andre's last name. And I'd get there early and run upstairs and hide from him. Hey, boss, come down. I put your seat next to me. I'm like, oh, God, he's going to kill me. So I just have to drink with him all the way there. It depends on where you leave from,
Yeah, but you said 400-some matches in 1 year, 360.
Well, at the height of it, because I was doing 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. Like I'd hit, like a Saturday, I'd hit Philadelphia Spectrum at 1 o'clock. And as Gretzky and the boys were coming in, I'd be leaving. Then I'd hit Madison Square Garden that night. Then the next day I'd hit the Boston Garden at 1 o'clock. Then I'd hit the LA Forum that night. So I could do like 4 matches in 2 days easy. And then when we did TV, we shoot TV in Allentown, right, Jimmy? We'd shoot like 3-4 hours of TV. I'd wrestle probably 11 times, shooting the TVs.
Jeez.
But then Vince scaled it way back and made me special, and said, but he had to get me over first.
Yeah, so have you thought about the number of bumps, because the leg drop, and obviously you have a lot of detractors from the business because you were the guy, top guy, so a lot of people wanted that spot. But a lot of people have talked about the way you worked in the ring. Was the reason why you worked in the ring the way you did potentially because of how many matches you had? And that leg drop, what is that? That's spine, hips, everything, right?
Well, the whole thing is when I see people like Brian Daniels, or Kevin Owens or Chris Jericho, I said, brother, keep the boots on the ground. This is all about, well, for me, the psychology was there were none of these guaranteed contracts. So if you got hurt and broke your arm or broke your ankle, you didn't get paid. So my whole thing was, I went 25 years without getting hurt. Actually, I did blow my knee out. If you ever watch that match with the Iron Sheik, I jumped up to drop the knee on his leg, and one of the boards was off in the ring, and it blew my left knee out. So I go hobbling back to the room after I won the title from the Sheik going, my God, my knee's gone. And I told my wife, Linda, at the time, I said, I don't think I can make it. So I kept that knee wrap for like 15 years, never had it cut on. But the reason I worked the way I did was I could work with anybody. I could work with a big guy, I could work with Piper, I could work with a wrestler. I had like, it was so easy to do because the character was over, and if I got in the ring with somebody, if I could just look at him, or just look at you, and I could hear the rumble, I would know how hard I had to work that night. Just as soon as I got in the ring, if it was dead, I'm going, okay, I'm going to have to grind for about 8 and sell and have them beat my ass for about 7 or 8 minutes before I start begging the crowd to help me. And then once I start coming up, well, here we go, But, it was, the character was so over, it made it so I didn't have to, do anything too crazy.
I know you're Hulk Hogan, okay? And I know you've been a superstar like 6 different times. Do you get pissed whenever you hear people run their mouth about what you did or how you did what you did?
No, brother. It's all good. Like,
you have to have
the young guys are great
right?
athletes, okay? They're all great. The business has changed so much. They do so much stuff in one match. I mean, I wouldn't do that much stuff in a year. I see some of the stuff these guys do. But at the end of the day, the wrestlers, the size has changed. All the guys, I was a 310-pound guy. I was a medium-sized guy, And now the wrestlers are smaller. They do more moves. They do all kind of stuff. I got nothing but respect for these guys, and they're so dedicated. But at the end of the day, they don't realize what happened and how this got to be to where a 180-pound or 200 or 220-pound guy could be a main event guy. There was a lot of changes, over the years. And a lot of that happened because we admitted it was sports entertainment. And some of the stuff they don't realize is, flying into Kansas City, never supposed to cross that imaginary line, the Kansas City territory. Harley Race pulling a gun at me saying, I'm going to blow your brains out. I've been the champ here, the NWA champ for 18 years here. Stuff happened along the way that a lot of guys don't know about,
Yeah, and that's why I think there is a very, from a lot of guys, a gratitude for the OGs for laying the groundwork for where we are today. Thank you for the Road Warrior and also staring down, I guess, Harley Race's pistol to make this whole thing happen.
Harley Race is a great guy. He just wanted a job.
He wanted respect, too, I think.
No, he did. And brother, he was a tough son of a gun. We gave him respect.
But you and Vince, there's obviously a lot of documentaries, a lot of history. I've seen it all about how the growth of the company and from territories to taking it over to a national to cable to everything. It's unbelievable. How do you feel about the current state? 70,000 plus for Royal Rumble at Lucas Oil Stadium. Netflix deal worth $5 billion being streamed around the world. How do you feel about the current? Are you jaded at all or are you proud of the business?
I'm so proud of these guys. It's like, you got guys like Seth Rollins, you got like CM Punk, you got like Roman Reigns, you got Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens. I could go down the list. All these guys are stars, and they carry their weight. And they don't come up short. I just pray to God they don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Because the storylines are so intense. The Usos and just these guys have all stepped up because they work so hard. They work harder than I did. These guys are working their butts off, and I got nothing but respect, and the product is insane. I never dreamed it would get to this level.
Yeah.
I was walking out the other day in L.A., and I was standing on the ramp, and Stephanie McMahon was there, and I said, oh, my gosh, man, things are so cool, and it's just amazing how big it's got. Well, she goes, well, I'm not involved anymore. I said, BS, you're the one that tells him what to do. Triple H,
Yeah.
And I was just teasing with her. She goes, oh, but you're the one that built this thing. You started. I went, oh, well, thank you for saying that. But me and her dad were in the trenches trying to get this thing going.
There's a lot of people that feel that way, though. It's not just a few, And obviously there's a lot of fans that have experienced a lot of things with you over the years.
Yeah.
Because like I mentioned earlier, 40 years in the spotlight, there's a lot of shit.
Yeah, bro.
A lot of shit.
You got to
You regret a lot? You regret a lot of the shit?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, you got to ride the highs and survive the lows. The first thing I regret is being so stupid in the ring. At the time, I mean, I'm 72 years old now, but at the time, my arms were legitimately 23, 24 inches. So if you've got 24-inch arms, why are you doing the leg drop?
Oh, so you're pissed you even did that.
And ruin your spine. Why don't you do the sleeper?
Yeah.
No bump. You take the guy down all the way up. He can poke you out, run you into the buckle, back you into the buckle, throw you to the top rope. There's a million outs, But why the leg drop? Stupid. I'm smart.
Yeah. Well, you're a professional wrestler, baby.
Iconic, though.
But anyway,
Yeah, the leg drop is iconic. And I want to let you know, whenever I had a match with The Miz at WrestleMania a couple years back, I potentially wanted to end it with a leg drop. I was like, how about just a leg drop at the end of this thing? And,
I got to say something now.
It wasn't a good strategy. It wasn't a good strategy. I had to punt him in the head. Obviously, he wouldn't have been down there. But
oh, God.
What you did for the business, phenomenal. But
I got to say something because you brought a name. I didn't mention the Miz's name. What a pro this guy is.
Dude.
Good God.
Healthy, too.
You talk about a professional, bro, and I've been watching him. This kid, he's not a kid. This man, excuse me, Mike. This guy doesn't miss a beat, bro. He's spot on.
Did a Spanish Fly the other night, 20 years into this thing.
Jeez.
Put over Andrade, I believe. Mm-hmm. He just...
Oh, my God.
1,000+ losses, I think. What's the number?
Something like that.
Well, actually, I was at the bar the other night with his dad. Was it Cleveland, Jimmy? Yeah. Mrs. Dad was there with us at the bar.
Yeah, you were there yesterday sitting with the second row, I believe, at the basketball game. Cavs beat the hell out
Oh,
of the
my God.
Mavericks there.
Donovan, how smooth is he, bro?
Smooth.
I'm sitting there behind the announcer's table. They're walking by going, hey, what's up, Hawks? They act like they're ripping their shirt off. They're going, where are you going partying at later? I'm like, the coach is right there. I'm like,
No. They went drink a couple real American beers.
I know, but the last time I got involved with this basketball thing, I had Phil Jackson calling me because I had Rodman down in Florida partying with me. He wouldn't go back to practice for the finals.
Oh, yeah.
So I got Phil Jackson calling me, where is he at? I said, I don't know. He won't go back.
That was documented in the last dance. He didn't show up. Go ahead,
You've been a big basketball fan. I see you with the Kevin Durant.
Yes,
Have
sir,
you always
bro.
been a big-time basketball fan?
Not all the time, but yeah, if somebody special comes along, I get hooked.
Oh, so Donovan Mitchell's with those guys?
Yeah, I'm one of the old school guys, man, back in the day. George's my guy. Like I said, Donovan's smooth. He's got the Jordan move, but he's got some more to go to be where Michael's at. But I got a chance to watch him up close last night. Smooth as butter. Man.
Yeah,
having fun. Woo,
what size those shoes?
17. Ring 17. What else you want to know?
No. Yeah. We know. I
forgot.
Yeah. Connor
Whoa.
Yeah.
Rewind.
Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, we'll stay away, Hulkster. But when it came to like healing and being a baby face, did you love it? Like we asked Stephanie last week kind of about her heel run, and she said she loved being the heel. Did you like that side of it? Or did you like both of them? Like, did you prefer being a baby face? What was your feelings around
Bro,
both
it was... The first ride was just so shocking. It's like if you were to turn the corner and walk in the men's restroom, all of a sudden there would be 3 aliens from Mars there. You go, what? My first ride when I took off with that red and yellow, I didn't know why the kids were coming to me. I wasn't ready for it. And then all of a sudden I got used to it. And now at this point in my life, thank God it's still happening. I didn't understand the role model thing and how much the character meant. And people being buried with my Hulk Hogan shirts on and a picture of me on the guy's grave. I mean, it's just amazing how much these people love
that freaks you out a little bit, right? A lot of pressure, brother. A lot of pressure, brother, to be perfect.
It is, but it also makes me realize, a lot of my friends go, you keep forgetting you're Hulk Hogan, and then Triple H has told me that. Don't forget you're Hulk Hogan. It like straightens me up, and because it's just a situation that it was such a good run. And, then there were some people, that thought my run was over. I had a disagreement with Vince on that. I didn't think the run was over. And so, I wanted to be a bad guy after the Ultimate Warrior thing, because after he won the belt from me, I wanted to go down the aisle and do the Three Stooges turn. Slowly, I turned to go back and crucify him, and turn into Triple H.
Good turn.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
That would have been a good turn.
But Vince didn't want me to do it, so we kept working. I could tell the thrill was gone. The honeymoon was over. But then when I turned into a bad guy, it was almost like it was so cool to turn into the snidely, whiplash, evil character where I'd grind and beat people. And then when they come at me, oh, please don't hurt me. I cross my fingers, sorry. It was just so fun to do it. And then the lines got blurry. They started cheering me, And it's like when I went out with The Rock. You know, I'm going down the ramp and they're cheering me, and The Rock starts punching me in the ring, and I started booing him. You know, I was like, oh my God, we got to get this flipped around here. So it got a little tough to navigate, you know. But since I call stuff in the ring, it's easy to just need a couple minutes to get us back to center. You know, bracket all the BS and then go back to center. You know?
NWO still the biggest thing you've been a part of? I think you said that whenever you did the return at SummerSlam or WrestleMania. I believe you talked about Hogan's Hangout, how the NWO merch is.
Oh, it's still selling, bro. But the thing is, the red and yellow stuff's still selling. I've got 2 retail stores. I got one in Clearwater Beach, and I got one in Orlando. I can't keep the stuff in stock. I mean, it's selling like crazy.
When's karaoke night?
Monday night. I'm missing it.
What?
No.
What do you sing? I am a real man.
How about tequila? Well, there's one word. Tequila in the whole song. Tequila.
Not bad.
No, but it's been great, man. And the wrestling business has been so good to me. It's crazy. It's got Jimmy and I talk all the time. It's almost like what's old is new again, you know?
Yeah. AJ is in Ohio. He has a question for you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Hulk, you mentioned listening to the crowd. You said it's like an art form. I know you're a musician. You played music and you've been in bands.
Yeah.
Did that help you, like, listen to the crowd and kind of get a feel and help with your stage presence?
Well, it did help a lot because I played music for like 10 years before I ever got in the wrestling business. And when we were getting ready to go on the road with a band called Blackfoot, one of the singer just got married, and one of the guitar players had this girlfriend they didn't want to leave, so I got pissed, and I said, that's it. I'm quitting. I'm going to be the greatest wrestler that ever lived, and they all fell on the floor laughing. And, you know, of course, why not? But then the stage presence of being in front of those live crowds 6 nights a week, because we would play from 9 till 2 in the morning. Jimmy Hart was all about that. He was a musician, too.
Hell yeah, Jimmy's playing till 3, 4 a.m.
Yeah, no doubt. And so I got used to being in front of that crowd, brother, so that when I got in front of a wrestling crowd and I broke in Florida, and, you know, and when I walked out to the ring, I didn't have the jitters, you know. I was already used to being in front of that crowd, so it did help a lot.
Whenever you kind of live your life day to day, what's the goal? Like when you're waking up today, like, you know, I want people to better understand who I am, who might misunderstand me a little bit, might have taken something that I've done wrong in the past out of context. I want to sell some real American beer. I want to put over Hulk Hogan. What is the day-to-day at this stage?
Well, the weirdest thing is, you know, I don't want to sound like a Bible thumper or holy roller. It's just to be at peace. To be at peace because, you know, I was saved when I was 14. You know, accepted Christ when I was saved when I was 14. Of course, I derailed. Music and wrestling and all the debauchery. We went nuts. And then, you know, I've been through a couple divorces, and I just couldn't understand why this was happening. And a lot of it had to do with me and the lifestyle and everything. And then once I got remarried the 3rd time, my wife and I both got baptized. I just really went back to my faith. And all of a sudden, it just kind of straightened everything up for me, you know. So the weird part is once you're at peace, you know, the good doesn't prevent the better, and things keep getting better and better and better. And, you know, if I'm gonna work, I'm gonna work. If I'm not gonna work, I'm gonna sit my butt on the couch and, you know, binge watch TV or something. So it's always, if I'm working, I'm searching for greatness. You know, greatness with the beer. I want this to be the #1 beer in America. Same thing when I wrestled. I want to be the #1 wrestler. It's whatever I do, the final goal is greatness. So for me to be working at my age, you know, and it's a blessing.
How old are you?
I'm 71. I'll be 72 in August.
Happy birthday. We missed a few.
Yep.
Still working out? Still working out?
Yeah, brother. I hit it for about an hour and a half a day.
What do? We do beach? We do full body? What's the workout?
Well, bodybuilding. You know, I've got a gym in my garage. I weigh 265 pounds now. The last time I weighed this, I was in 9th grade. So I've always been over 300 pounds, but I had 10 back surgeries, both hips replaced, both knees, 2 shoulders, a couple surgeries on my face, my eye, and just, you know, the back surgeries killed me. That's why I can't walk from here to there.
No, you can. We saw you.
No, I was hanging on to Jimmy.
Okay, but you still got both feet got there.
Yeah, but it's cool, you know, and it's like life is so darn so darn good that once you realize it, now that I see, it's almost like, and here we go, Bible thump you guys, bro. It's not Democratic, Republican. It's not who won or who lost. It's almost like a spiritual thing where we're all turning back to being good and the country being great again, and just everybody wants quality of life, and I see it happening. and it's changing. So this is the greatest time ever to be alive.
Yeah, they're calling it projecting a golden era, at least. You know, that is the goal of the entire thing. I hope that's the case. Unity is something that is beautiful. And the wrestling world has a lot of different people involved in it that are fans. You know, a lot of different fans.
Yeah.
Republicans, Democrats, rich, poor, you name it. Everybody kind of in the building. Has it always been that way? Because I think a lot of people joke about wrestling fans that haven't been around a long time. They always think it's like the dumb people from the South are the wrestling fans. That's not the case.
No.
Wrestling draws everybody, I think. Do you agree with that? And has it always been like that?
No, it's always been like that. And I told Trump, you know, when we were talking in private at Madison Square Garden at the Nazi rally, you know, and I told him, I said, bro, I've been out on the road he held my beer too. He goes, even though I don't drink, Hogan, I'm going to take a picture with your can.
The real American beer.
Yeah. And so I was telling him, I said, brother, I've been looking at these polls, you know, and they say you're 2 points ahead here in this pollster, and this pollster says you're 2 points behind. I said, I've been on the road for 6 months peddling beer, and I see, you know, people are in school and they're at work during the day, and that's when we have the appearances like at the Walmarts and the Krogers. We get 2,000-3,000 people showing up in the middle of the day, you know, and they're all fans, or they're all, you know, love wrestling and stuff. I said, my fans are Democrats and they're Republicans, and everybody wants you. So I don't know how it could possibly be even. So the night I went to bed, he was ahead like 18 electoral votes, and I thought for sure when I went to bed at 11:30, I was going to wake up in the morning, they'd steal the election, you know. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning to take a piss, and he'd won. I went, what? And so when he had told me Hogan is going to be too big to rig, I thought it was like a catchphrase, like, what you going to do, brother? I thought it was just a catch, but he was serious.
Did you tell him maybe he should add brother at the end of that? Too big to rig, brother.
No, but let me tell you something. I got to take credit for being the first athlete. When I did the convention in Madison Square Garden, I did his dance before anybody did.
Oh, you're saying it caught on a little bit because...
Yeah, because of me.
Yeah, I think you did it great, too.
No
Good
ego
rhythm.
involved, yeah.
Yeah, no ego involved. How do you feel about everybody that says that about you? That's one big takeaway. This guy's an egotistical maniac, is what your detractors say. You said you're at peace. Yeah. Obviously, you're trying to do your thing, but there's always going to be detractors from, 4 different decades of success.
Well, mostly the haters are the ones that haven't worked with me, you know, or they don't know me, which is cool. And, you know, everybody has an ego in the wrestling business. I get it. I have respect for anybody that could stick this business out, you know, because I've seen the UFC guys, basketball players, football players come. They get a day that they want to go back to where they came from, you know. Great guys like Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, you know, they're Benjamin Shelton. There's some really tough guys that have stuck it out. But the people that, you know, say I'm all ego-driven, you have to have a certain ego in this business because back in the day, I had the top spot, bro. Guess what everybody else wants?
Yep.
Everybody else wants that spot. Guess who makes the most money? The guy with the top spot, okay? And the best worker is the guy that makes the most money. I don't care who you are, you know? I don't care what your style is in the ring. The best worker is the guy that makes the most money, and that guy's Vince McMahon, or it was for a lot of years, you know, because he was the boss. But at the end of the day, the people that say I have an ego, they haven't worked with me. I don't hurt anybody.
It was also a necessity, you think?
Oh, my God, I had to.
Yeah, for you to survive.
Oh, for me to survive? Are you kidding me?
You had to have a confidence about yourself that, because there's a lot of people trying to get, the wrestling business, you talked about a gun to your face.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch any documentary about what it used to be, cutthroat is an understatement. Let alone the politics in the locker room and everything like that. You had to have an unflappable confidence, arrogance almost, to be able to continue to do your job. And if it wasn't you, it was going to be somebody, right?
And you got to realize, when I got in this business, there were like 6 guys sitting in the locker room, broken noses, cauliflower ears, teeth knocked out. They were all 320, 330 pounds. And for me to take his job, I had to take the food out of his family's mouth. Nobody wanted me in the business when I started in 77. It was a different business back in 1977. And nothing personal, but those big 300 and 350 pound guys, a lot of these guys are in the business now. If it was still the way it was, they wouldn't be in this business. You know, the guys that are about 70, 80 pounds, they would never have let them in the business. But thank God it's changed because these guys are super athletes now.
Yeah, great show. You know, anytime you talk to an OG wrestler, the conversation is always like, they're planning spots and yada, yada, yada. They don't call it in the ring. I don't think anybody's calling anything in the ring anymore because there's so many eyes on everything. And, you know, obviously, best wrestler wins every single match. That is kind of how we view it. I like to hear the fact that you're not like jaded and hate all the young guys.
No, bro, no. I mean, a lot of the guys don't like me, but I got respect for them. I understand. They're going to go through a period. They're going to Perfect example. When I was working at WCW, there was a whole group of young guys. They're all my friends now. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, a whole bunch of young guys they didn't want anybody in the business over 40. And I love Chris Jericho. How old's Jericho now? He's one of my favorite friends.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's
got to be damn near 50.
Yeah.
He just had a cruise.
So things have changed, but they didn't understand at the time. Hogan's the oldest one. Let's get rid of him. There was a lot of that going on back then. But the thing is, to get rid of me, I was the star in the 80s, and here goes the ego. To get rid of me, I should have been gone in the 90s. They really should. They had 10 years to replace me, but they didn't. So I was the star in the 90s. And then when that didn't happen, guess what happened? I still rolled in the 2000s.
Hogan knows best.
So, well, whatever.
How'd you feel about that? Hindsight.
How do I feel about it? I'd never do it again.
Ever?
Never.
I watched.
Well,
I was a fan.
Not with my family, not in the house.
Too much.
Bro, brutal. I mean, I'd wake up in the morning, the production crew would be outside. There'd be putting a mic at me and on my kids and everything like at 7 o'clock in the morning. They wouldn't leave till 10 at night. It was brutal.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was brutal.
Yeah, but if it means anything as a fan of the show, I thought it was a great show. Your misery was certainly worth it.
Without a doubt.
If it means anything. Ty has a question for you, Hulkster.
Yeah, you mentioned Rocky III getting fired. I always used to read a story that, I don't know if it was when you went in shooting, someone was told you, like, hey, you need to put on for the wrestling business. Like, you need to beat the shit out of Sylvester Stallone in the ring. Like, actually shoot, go at him. Was there any truth to that? Because obviously with Thunder Lips in Rocky III, I always remembered reading a story that you did some serious damage to Sly Stallone and that you guys maybe had some beef afterwards after the filming was over.
No beef, but he's the one that wanted it to be real. Because it's such a weird story. When I broke in wrestling at Florida, there was a guy named Tom Ernesto that was the booker. Okay? My first day when I went down, a guy named Hiro Matsuda, and I thought he was in good shape. He exercised me until I was ready to faint, burpees, jumping squats. He made me run around Tampa Stadium a couple times, followed me in the station wagon like 2 feet behind me till I was ready to pass out. Got me in the ring, put his elbow on my shin, grabbed my toe, and broke my leg. First day. Don't ever come back again. I was playing in a rock and roll band, had long blonde hair down my back, thought I was a tough guy, but I wasn't. But at the end of the day, when I went out to do the Rocky movie, there was Tom Ernesto. And Tom Ernesto was coordinating this whole thing. So Stallone could tell I wasn't real happy with the guy. And so Stallone goes, come in my trailer, let's have lunch together. So he goes, well, what do you think of this guy? I said, well, brother, it's going to look like a bunch of fiction in there. I didn't know anything about the movies. I'd never done a movie before. I negotiated Stallone with my fee on the side of the ring. He gave me $14,000 to do the part. I've never had an agent or anything before. And so he goes, well, what do you think would happen? I said, well, brother, I'm 330 pounds. I'm 29 years old. I got a 34-inch waist. And I've been over in Japan. I can really go right now. I said, if you were to reach out with a boxing glove and try to hit me at 160 pounds, I'd break you in half like a chicken wing. I really would. So he goes, well, what do we do to make it real? I said, well, what do we need to do? I don't understand filming. He goes, well, we only need 2 or 3 big setups. I said, okay, well, charge me in the corner. I'll move. I'll slam you. I'll pick it. He goes, no. One move is one thing, like charge me and moving. That's one setup. I didn't realize that. Camera's got to shoot his point of view, my point of view, and then a wide shot. I didn't realize just one punch was a big setup. I didn't understand that. So once he told me what he needed, I went, we don't need Tom Ernesto. I can do this. So basically we blocked everything out, move by move, and a couple times I did hurt him. I hit him with a high knee in the corner, and I thought I broke his collarbone. I threw a punch. If you ever watch it again, I threw a straight-in punch to his forehead that came from down here. It's one of the best punches I've ever seen thrown. Thank you very much. No, watch it again. That straight-in punch, you can't beat it. And then when I power slammed him, he wanted to take it. Instead of putting him in the middle of the ring, I was a Prizik, and I ran with him, and I put him in the corner to teach him a lesson. And when my chest hit his chest, and I bounced up, I saw the blood go right out of his mouth. And I went, oh, hell. And he goes, let's do it again. I'm going, dude, you're crazy.
Yeah, well, it ended up being absolutely one of the biggest moments in the history of film and obviously of wrestling in that entire thing. Shout out to you piecing it together, big old brain. No crowd either, so you can't even You know, if
No. But it was just stock stuff. It's just, he said, what would happen if a 300-pound wrestler got in the ring with a 160-pound boxer?
I would eat your fist.
Yeah.
If you got close enough to get to me, it'd be over.
Prizik, huh? You still talking?
It is always tiz up kids on your brother.
Yeah, that's kayfabe for Rizzo, brother.
Well, that was the problem the last time we went back to the WWE. Vince was there. He said, hey, Vince, what's up with the Gizeyes in the Bizac room? They're just his hanging out with big ears. They just listen to everything we're doing. He goes, Terry, we don't speak Carney here anymore. I'm like, what? You don't? You know?
Yeah. What's up with the boys in the back? They're listening to everything that we're saying.
Well, Cody
there.
Rhodes and a bunch of guys speak Carney, right? Jimmy Cody still speaks
Yes.
it.
There's the people that are brought up into business.
Roman Reigns speaks it, yeah. The whole crew, yeah.
How do you feel about generational wrestlers? How do you feel about like second generation, third generation? Because obviously the bloodline, we talk about that.
Yeah,
Jey Uso just won the Rumble.
Yeah, it makes life easy, man. It makes these guys have it in their blood, so they'll work hurt. A lot of people don't want to work hurt, you know? Like you break your thumb or something in the Spectrum in the afternoon, you're in the garden a couple hours later, nobody complains, you work hurt. You know, teeth knocked out, broken nose, it's not a big thing, you know? It's these generational wrestlers understand what their parents went through and their grandparents. And so it's like Orton, you know? Bob Orton, I wrestled his dad. And when I first started in Florida, Big O was in the territory, and I was a job guy. I did a squash match for Big O's grandfather, so I wrestled 3 of the Ortons, you know?
Who's Mount Rushmore? When you do Mount Rushmore, obviously a lot of people put you on there because of what you did for the business. How do you judge it? Is it money earned, business change? What do you, whenever people do those Mount Rushmores, what do you think they should think about?
It's not money. It's not money. I can tell you right now who it would be. I can tell you who the 4 guys are right now. It's Andre the Giant.
Okay.
It's Roddy Piper. It's, without doubt, it's Ric Flair. And Macho Man.
Okay.
That's the real Mount Rushmore.
Okay, so you left out, obviously, Attitude Era there. You left out Modern Generation.
Yeah.
And that's because you believe company doesn't exist through those
guys
things.
laid the groundwork for everybody that came after them.
Now, obviously, you are omitting yourself from that. A lot of people, if you were going to do that generation.
Those guys made me. If it wasn't for those guys, I wouldn't be Hulk Hogan.
Macho Man, you and he, obviously, a lot of deep history. And the NWO turn was with and on Macho, obviously, and the world upside down with it. Whenever you look back on your relationship with him, how do you view it?
Well, the good thing is right before he passed away, we kissed and made up.
That's huge. I think that's a big deal. Lifelong regret.
We were together every day. I mean, we traveled together. He lived right down the beach from me. We trained every day. We did everything together. And then when he went to the divorce, well, yeah, Hogan, you're the one that did this to Elizabeth. You got in her ear. I'm like, what? It was my wife? Not me. You know, my wife took her down to Miami. It was game over.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It was game over, man. I said, good God.
Yeah.
But, you know, then he hated me for like 8 or 10 years, and then he got remarried to his high school sweetheart, and I guess he kind of calmed down a little bit, and I was at the doctor's office. I was having some heart problems or something, and he came in there with his mom, and I'm just sitting there on that paper table, you know, with one of my ex-wives, and he walks in, and he opened the door, my eyes got this big, and my ex-wife really didn't know who he was, and he goes, hey, what's up, brother? And I'm like, man, you look great, man, because he got his size back. Because he went from Spider-Man 290 down to about 180. And I ran into him in TNA, and it wasn't cool. We weren't cool, but he was kind of like very small. I kind of felt bad, you know, and he didn't look real great. And then I saw him this last time, and he looks like Randy. He was 240, healthy, and he had a wedding ring on. I married my high school sweetheart. And I introduced my ex-wife to him, and she goes, oh, Mr. Macho Man, if you want to, we're having dinner. Terry's got a bunch of his lawyers over there. I said, no, I don't need any lawyers. I think I'll start slow, you know. so then I was with Lanny, his brother. We were doing some independent stuff up in Canada, wrestling in some places up in Canada. And we called, and I guess his dog or something had just died. I don't know what it was, but he was all, right, and his dog was his favorite person, you know, and his German Shepherd.
Man's best friend.
Yeah, man, and Randy loved that dog. The whistle is like, that's how he would whistle for his dog. That I can't do it, but that's how he do it.
Yeah, sound like
Yeah. So anyway, we called Randy. Hey, we're going to be back this weekend. We're going to have a barbecue with your mom and stuff like that. And I'll be damned, he passed away before we got back.
Okay, but you do have a sense of.
Yeah, we were cool at the end, man. It was really cool because he was back to being Randy. You know.
Any other situations you think that the world has misconstrued about you?
I don't know. I'm not trying here to make excuses for anything. I mean, some.
No, I think that's a big piece of information there with Macho Man. I feel like I followed closely. I did not know that was the case. So I assume there's other things throughout.
No, I mean, people either like me or they don't. There's no in between. A lot of people think that I ran the show or I had the power of the pencil. I mean, I've heard Bret Hart say that I destroyed his career because I had the pencil. But then, he's hated Vince and he's hated Flair and he's hated
Goldberg.
Bischoff and Goldberg. Everybody hates everybody. So I mean, I don't know where I fall in line there, but
You don't know where you are on the hating.
I don't know. Well, the funny thing was last time I saw
Will you ever
him,
try to reach out and make right?
Oh, if I saw him, the last time I saw him, I was in a WWE locker room and I was being called to go to the gorilla position. And when I opened the door, Natty, who I love to death, was standing there with Brett. I go, "Hey, Brett, how you doing?" I shook his hand real quick. I didn't think he realized I did it.
You stole it.
No, I said, "Hey, Brett, how you doing?" He stuck his hand out. I shook it real quick and I was gone before he even realized it was me, I think.
Much like you did with Macho Man before.
What's that?
You guys, made up.
Who, Brett?
Yeah.
No, we haven't talked at all.
No, but I'm saying you should do that with everybody.
Oh, I'd love to.
I think it would be.
Oh, I love Brett to death. I think he's cool as hell, man. But I don't know, bro. It is what it is with your career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, especially with where the business is.
I'll put it to you this way: if you could have done any better, you would have.
Okay.
Okay.
I respect that,
saying?
and it's about everybody. That's every sport, by the way.
But everybody makes their own deal, brother.
That's not just professional wrestling. That
Yeah.
happens in football. That happens in hockey. That happens in basketball. There's a lot of guys that think they got screwed by everybody.
No, I mean, I'm not hating Vince McMahon because he did better than me.
No, Bret Hart, though, was a guy, though. Remember?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why it's interesting that there is still that. I hope you get a chance to bury the hatch with everybody.
Oh, I hope so, yeah.
Because you guys, your crew, just like you mentioned, you were Mount Rushmore, obviously built this business to become what it has become.
You guys got a cold beer?
Yeah, I'm
I
sure we
need
do.
something,
actually.
man.
A cold beer.
Yeah, he'll have one too. We got some boys that run to the back. With that being said, I think we're gonna wrap this up. I
Really?
gotta get to Cleveland for Raw.
Man, oh, that's right. That's right.
You were just there. I didn't know if you were going to Raw or not because
I didn't know if I was or not, man. I had no idea.
What is the plan? What is life? We're going around Real American Beer.
Well, I got a bunch of other stuff going too. I'm getting ready to. I don't want to talk too much, but I'm getting ready to open a bar in New York.
What?
Wow. Okay.
What are you doing? Real American Bar?
I don't have my phone with me. I'll show you where it's at. Okay, if this is Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
Right here.
That's the Mecca.
And this is the entrance.
Okay.
Penn Station, right?
Yeah.
Walking from here to the Thunderdome sign, right there.
Wow.
Here's the entrance to Madison Square and Penn. My restaurant's on that corner. It's the old barbecue place.
Hogan's Hangout.
No, I ain't Hogan's Hangout. I ain't gonna tell you the name yet.
Is that a bar though?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've run bars before.
Yeah.
You understand the bar business.
Oh yeah.
So this should not be a problem.
Ooh, I don't know. This is gonna be a wild one.
Love it.
What do you mean? I don't know.
I mean, it's there's a million people a day walk by the front of the place, so.
Are you gonna be out front?
I'm gonna be everywhere, brother.
You doing this one right here?
Yeah, I've got Real American Beer all over the place there, so it's gonna get crazy.
They are.
Oh, can I have a cold beer, please?
Cold beer. Cold beer. Wide.
See, I'm semi-retired.
Wide. Nice catch. Things upside down.
Wide.
Ty will take one downtown.
Wide.
Oh, it's foamed up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I tossed it. Yeah, call me. You in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. D-Butch.
I'll drink.
Hey, that skit you guys did on the show was crazy. Who was in the suit?
You know who?
That was me.
Yeah, he's got a little foam on his chin right there. Jimmy, you want a beer?
Jimmy, you don't drink.
I will today.
No, you're not.
He'll do one.
Nice catch, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Football in high school.
Athlete. Don't ever get it twisted.
Jimmy, you won't drink a beer. I've asked you for 45 years to drink a beer with me.
Whoa. You weren't drinking that. Remember vitamins, prayers?
I was drinking. He wasn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got it. Hey, here's to you, Hulkster.
Real American.
That's right. I am a real American, drinking this beer once and again.
There you go.
Tastes like a little bit of a Busch Light.
Oh!
You don't agree with that?
Busch Light's pretty good.
This is in the same.
You didn't say Bud Light. You said Busch Light.
Busch.
Busch, yeah.
It's in the same vein
Yeah.
of the light beers.
You know what we need, brother?
What's that?
We need a Hollywood Hogan 8.0 NWO.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the dark side. Ride dirty with the Real American Beer, brother.
Yeah, why don't you do it? Get it done with the PBR executive.
Man, I don't know. I think we're going to get it done with WWE's what we're going to get it done with.
Yeah, congrats on the deal with the WWE.
Yeah, man, they're our partners.
How's it been working with that post
Great.
Vince?
You know what? I love Vince McMahon to death, but it is like two brothers. We would fight like dogs.
Been through a lot together.
Man, we would fight over everything.
This is pretty good.
Everything.
Oh, yeah. This may or may not be my first real American beer swig. He drinks them all in the office.
Wow. Working with Nick Khan and Triple H is just like smooth as butter. Right, Jimmy? It's just like they tell you what they think. They like a lot of the ideas. They contribute to the ideas.
Jimmy.
Nick Khan was a Hulkamaniac. Triple H has just been gracious and nice to us. And I wish I had Stephanie to work with, too.
Well, I think
but she's staying home, I think.
No, I don't know. It feels like she's getting back on that board.
Yep.
Feels like it. Especially after this weekend. You know, she came here. She's doing she's like kind of slowly
easing back.
Came out first at the Rumble.
She knows the business inside and out.
Yeah, grew up in it. I mean, these are like real deal. Grew up in it. Just like you, man. We're lucky to, have experienced the Terry Bollea to the Hulkster kind of entire road and run. And thank you for what you've done for the business.
Hey, and this brother's good in the ring, too. I don't know how much you guys know about it, but watching you in the ring, when you first came on, I'm sitting home going, over the top, crazy, big mouth, raising hell. I'm going, they're going to love this guy. Especially Vince was there when you started, right?
Yeah.
I said, Vince is going to love this. Just right down his. And then I saw you get in the ring. I said, this brother's an athlete. I'm going to find out what he did. And then when I found out you played football and stuff, I went, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Now I know why you got balance and timing, because that's what it's all about. You know that.
Balance and timing is a big deal.
It's everything.
That's why watching Michael Cole yeet, it's like Cole stinks in the ring. He's got no rhythm. You guys got no rhythm, no timing, no nothing.
But also balance, timing, and placement. If you're not in the right place, you're going to get hurt real bad.
Yeah, and you can make everybody look terrible.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you got it.
You do that.
Yeah, when I saw you in the ring, I went, okay, the brother's got it.
I'll tell you what, though. I've been in there a few times.
You know who else has got it?
Check the box. I'm okay.
You done the gimmick yet? Red turns to green.
Have
Come
not.
on. I'll whack you the first time.
Okay, you got it. Hey, actually, bring a chair out now. Just old school.
No, you don't want a hard way from me. Ask Jimmy. You don't want one from me. No, if you're a virgin, I'll hit you the first time.
Okay, sweet. I appreciate that. Always remember that.
There you go.
Always remember the first time. I certainly will. Who else? You think Logan?
Oh God, he's so good.
He's great.
Oh, he's so good.
You think he still doesn't know what a shooter or work is? I think that was a work on you.
Yeah, it was.
I think
he was playing.
Yeah, I think so too.
He was playing. He's a dumb fox.
Yeah, he worked your ass though.
He sure did. Didn't
Yeah,
he?
you're like, brother.
Problem.
Yeah, they were playing.
Is this a shoot?
They were playing.
Yeah.
They were playing.
Yeah, he worked you a little bit. Hey, you better watch yourself though, because you work yourself into a shoot.
There you go,
brother. Mm-hmm. Is that one of the greatest tweets of all time? I think so.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Very cool.
Because the business is a shoot. I agree with that.
Everything's a shoot. Are you kidding me? This business is not a work. This is a shoot. If this was a work, so you and I are wrestling, and I get paid $2 million and you get $600,000. Is that a work?
Who's going to win?
It doesn't matter.
No, but I'm
It's
saying
the money and the miles. Who cares who wins? It's entertainment. It's predetermined. It's a shoot. If somebody's making more money than me, that's a shoot to me. It's a shoot, right?
Absolutely.
It's the money and the miles, old school. How long you got to be away from your family and quality of life, and how much money are they paying you to destroy your life and be on the road? So if I'm wrestling with somebody and they're making more money than me, it's a shoot. And it should be a shoot to them, too.
Does everybody know how much everybody's making?
I don't know.
Nobody's making
My days, I already had my day. I got nothing to prove. I'm good.
Nobody's making as much as the Hulkster.
No,
That's
wait
right.
a minute. I don't wait a minute. Hold on. I had my day, but I was born 20 years too soon.
Oh, you're saying nowadays paycheck's a little bit different. Biggest gate in the history. Biggest gate in the history of the WWE just happened. This Royal Rumble.
I know, it was awesome.
And then it's like the last biggest one was like whatever the last, I think, Mania.
Yeah.
The last one. And then the next one will
the
be.
business is on fire, brother. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it's different pay model now, right? No longer the pay-per-view checks and everything like that because of streaming and everything.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, it is all
I
different.
don't know anything about it. I wish I did. I'd love to get in the middle of that.
One more match.
Easy.
One
more match.
No, I ain't there, bro. One more surgery. If I fall down in the ring, I think I'd turn to dust.
Biggest first moment that pops in your head when you think of your entire career right now.
I didn't understand you.
First moment that pops in your head when you think about your entire career right now. Andre?
Yeah, it was slamming the giant.
Has to be.
Has to be, yeah. I didn't know if he was going to let me do it.
Yeah, that was shoot, right?
Yeah. He didn't tell me he was going to win or lose. And he was in a very bad mood.
Which is unstoppable, right?
If you're in the dressing room with him and he drinks 2 bottles of Crown Royal, you're good.
Jeez.
You're good. If he drinks 2 bottles of Crown Royal and some other stuff for the pain, watch out.
You don't know what's taking place.
Watch out.
That was standard operating procedure back then? Obviously not 2 bottles. Andre's a different animal, but people used to, just to get through. Let's get through the night and let's see the next stop.
No, the guys really didn't drink. It was just me and a couple guys. I always kept a case of beer in the dressing room.
For the boys?
Well, for me too, of course. I had to have a couple beers before I went to the ring, you know. I just did. It just made me loose, you know.
Turned you into the Hulk?
Yeah, it made me over-animated. I needed that.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to wrestle very much.
Never shy? Whole life? Always built for public eye? You think, even as a kid?
Shy through high school. Fat kid, wouldn't take his shirt off, you know, that whole deal.
And then you started?
Yeah, I started because I wanted a girlfriend, man.
Yeah, I get it.
Started drinking Diet Cokes and eating 1 Burger King a day.
Boom. I need to start doing that.
Yeah, this guy needs to start. He drinks 4 real American beers on a Tuesday.
There you go. No, but business is awesome. I mean, I just love where it's at now. I just can't believe how big it is. The WWE is just dominating.
You think Cena should have turned heel?
My opinion?
Yeah, because what happened with you?
In my opinion, I think John would have been one of the greatest heels ever because he was such a great babyface. And, you know, you repent after you've cut everybody's throat, stolen all the money, and cheated and stolen everything. Then when you repent and beg for forgiveness, the wrestling fans will make you even a bigger baby face.
Here's to you, Hulkster.
All right, Real American Beer in the house.
It's available where?
Everywhere.
Really? Nationwide?
Well, we're in 20 states. We're working on the rest of them.
Boom. Good work, brother.
Yep.
Good work,
brother.
Hey, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're in this thing together. Never forget it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Team on me. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team. Cheers. Goodbye.
Goodbye.